Harris, the author of The Immaculate Reception, considered the most iconic play in NFL history. And for that play, Harris is a Mount Rushmore player for the league, believes ESPN NFL reporter Sal Paolantonio.
The sport was changing at that time, and it became the television sport that we know it. The Steelers and Franco Harris put the NFL on the launch pad culturally that launched the NFL into the true television sport that it became in the 80s and the 90s.
The Steelers are scheduled to retire Harris's number 32 jersey during halftime of the Raiders game on Saturday. The Colts have benched quarterback Matt Ryan for a second time this season. They'll start Nick Foles against the Chargers on Monday night. Quarterback Arch Manning, the number 2 overall prospect in the ESPN 300, signed with Texas. He's the nephew of Peyton and Eli Manning. He will get an opportunity to compete for the Longhorns' starting job.
Hi, this is Max Kellerman from Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. All of us here at ESPN Radio would like to wish you happy holidays and a happy new year.
In the heart of Beer City, USA, 2 men, 1 journey to create a sports show unlike any other. Unfiltered, raw, and honest. One of them played a soccer goalie opposite Ben Stiller. The other once scored 6 points on Steph Curry. These guys know their shit.
Let's go!
Tank Spencer, Jeremy Greene, The Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings. And Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
And welcome into the Sportsocracy. It is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. And, of course, you can hear the Sportsocracy everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. And you can see us live on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com. Click on that live video link. Subscribe to the channel while you're there. And while you're there, take a peep at our new threads, man.
Our new spiffy show hoodies.
Our Sportsocracy show hoodies showed up in the mail just for Christmas.
That is a little teaser of things to come in the new year.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. You want to get your hands on one of these bad boys? You're going to get your opportunity. Don't you fret. None.
And we have nothing to do with it, which is the happiest part of my life.
We have nothing to do. What does that mean?
Literally, we have nothing to do with it. I don't design them. I don't ship them. We don't house them. You go to the website, do your thing, shows up at your house.
That's how all great merch should be.
Absolutely.
Welcome inside the Ingles Studio here on ESPN Asheville. Over the next 3 hours, we'll keep you entertained. We've got the Merry Madness bracket to decide once again.
We're down to the Sweet 16, which is up on our social media, so you can go there and vote. We're not going to go through and vote through all these today, but we are going to discuss the matchups. Maybe have a few reels to throw out later tonight, so you can see that. Make some jokes. I'll talk about how terrible A Christmas Story and Elf are, and how Home Alone Die Hard is actually the finals in the Sweet 16.
Oh, stop that. Anyhow, Merry Madness bracket matchups. We'll talk about them. We'll have them out for the voting on the social medias later on this evening. We have decided we're going to do, semifinals and finals all together on Friday?
Correct.
Live right here for the last show of the year. We will not be with you next week.
I will be with you Saturday, hopefully with armchair commentary. If not, it's going to be domestic light-infused madness.
Yes.
On Christmas Eve to help set your fantasy lineups.
It'll be the mullet show.
Oh, you don't want that. That is you need somebody to keep me from saying all the bad words.
Well, it's a good thing that's not on the FCC-controlled airwaves.
Bingo.
So you can use all the wordy dirds that you want to, Mr. Jeremy Greene. First and foremost, to kick off the program today, we have to say thoughts and prayers to the family of Franco Harris, who passed away suddenly last night, and I just can't get it out of my mind. 3 days before he was going to have his number retired. He's still going to have his number retired, by the Pittsburgh Steelers on the 50th anniversary of the Immaculate Reception game against the Las Vegas Raiders.
It's incredibly sad.
It is awful. You really wanted him to be there to be a part of this. Franco Harris was always one of those guys that, like, look, I'm not a Steelers fan, and I wasn't even old enough to have enjoyed his playing days. I mean, the guy retired from the NFL when I was 3 years old. But, of course, the Immaculate Reception is the all-time most played replay in history. And I don't think the footage ever really confirmed that it was a catch. But it's nonetheless, it's in the past. And Franco Harris had an amazing career with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And he was always just one of those guys. Like, he would show up on TV and always seemed like the most lovable guy. One of those guys that's feared on the gridiron and off the field. Just quiet, meek, lovable. It's sad. Sad that he passed away. And but there will be, I'm sure, one of the greatest memorial services, practically, coming up on Saturday.
Which is sad, because we just did this with Mike Leach yesterday. I don't know if you saw any of Mike Leach's memorial service. It was incredible.
I did.
Bob Stoops, I'm not necessarily sure that went over exactly how you intended it for it to, but Gardner Minshew, of course, was Gardner Minshew. Which is ironic because Mustache Mania is back.
Of course.
We're not actually sure that he's going to start, but we feel pretty sure of it.
Well, I mean, Jalen Hurts, he could play this week, but do you really need to? Do you really need to play Jalen Hurts this week? I mean, you can clinch out the number 1 seed. You've already clinched the division. So you want to win this game, but does it matter? Do the Philadelphia Eagles need Jalen Hurts to win this game against the Dallas Cowboys?
No. No, they do not. And I really feel like Philadelphia is telling you everything that you need to know. I also need you to look at the line. That's always, and I say this quite often, that's the truth serum.
Mm-hmm.
You want truth serum in the NFL? Just go to the Vegas line. So you have Dallas Cowboy fans that are notoriously delusional with how they bet. That's not me taking a shot at the Cowboys. Ask any bookmaker. They will tell you this. Dallas Cowboys, New England Patriots, handful of others. They bet in a delusional way because there are a ton of them. So it sways the narrative. Have you seen the line for this game?
No.
It's in Dallas. It's in Dallas, and Gardner Minshew's probably starting.
Okay.
Set the line.
Philly -4.
You were horribly wrong at Philly. There was no way a backup quarterback was going to be favored against the Dallas Cowboys. It's Dallas -5.
Dallas -5.
Which means if they were playing this game in Philadelphia, it would be Dallas -2 with a backup quarterback and a notorious fan base that sways betting lines to the other side. Yeah, I mean, it's right there in front of you. I'm not sure that Philadelphia doesn't beat them with Gardner Minshew. Wouldn't shock me in the least.
Mm-hmm. Well, the game plan obviously changes, right? I mean, when you have Gardner Minshew,
it's a different game plan.
It's gonna go to a pass heavier offense,
which is ironic when you say it out loud that the starter goes down and now we're going to throw more.
Mm-hmm. We just don't have that ability with Gardner Minshew. He doesn't have the wheels.
No.
That Jalen Hurts does.
And I'm not sure that for where the Dallas Cowboys are, you're not in better shape playing Gardner Minshew. I know that sounds insane to say. This is probably the best backup quarterback in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
If the Indianapolis Colts had Gardner Minshew, we would have been done with Matt Ryan 8 weeks ago.
But
oh, stop!
Now you got BD Nick Foles. He's coming back.
Oh, Napoleon Dynamite, Pardue. Stop! Who cares?
Nick Foles going to start.
I
for
don't
the
care if they play
Colts
Jeff
this week.
Saturday at quarterback.
Right.
And can we stop with the Jim Harbaugh thing in Indianapolis?
Yep.
Just, okay, stop that. Your job is not nearly attractive enough right now to get Jim Harbaugh to leave Michigan to come to Indianapolis.
Yeah, after he's taken Michigan to the playoffs.
And after he specifically said, I'm done flirting with the NFL. Do I think that's true? Oh, good Lord, no.
No.
Do I think you can unwind that a year later without being a pariah in Michigan? No, I don't.
Mm-mm. No, you need a couple more years before you can unwind that and start flirting with the NFL again. You just let people forget that. We got a super chat in the YouTube comments.
Oh, where's my button?
I'm your huckleberry.
It's from Bo Walker. He says, hey, guys, getting ready to go into the warehouse. Love the show. Give a shout out to Karen. Hi, Karen. Merry Christmas to you and Bo.
T's and P's to the family. I've been meaning to say that for a couple days.
Absolutely. Karen lost her brother just recently, and yeah, our thoughts and prayers are with you, Karen.
That's on me. I actually made a note to do that earlier in the week, and I think it's buried under the 4 computers I have sitting in front of me.
Mm-hmm. But Bo getting ready to start the old shift there at the Ingles Distribution Center up in Black Mountain. Big fan of the show, and we always appreciate it. So yes, Merry Christmas, glad tidings to Bo and Karen. Gardner Minshew starting for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Mustache mania,
and
now he looks like Keanu Reeves.
Does he?
Yes,
I haven't seen
his
him
hair.
lately.
He's got that John Wick hair. I just saw him at Mike Leach's memorial.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at that now going, I see a path that you are my favorite quarterback of this week, and it's not even kind of close.
Oh, he's going to be your spicy in your DFS lineups this week?
I'm going to put it to you this way. If Jalen Hurts does not play and you see my battle for the belt lineup and it doesn't have Gardner Minshew in it, you should check on me because that means I've probably been abducted by aliens.
Okay. All right, no Nick Foles. You're not going the Nick Foles route.
You have said his name 2 more times than it deserved to be said, and we're 14 minutes in.
Oh, come on! That was one of the headlines of the day.
Not for me.
No
See,
more
my
Matt
computer
Ryan.
does this thing where it culls stories that don't matter, and that doesn't matter even a little bit. However, you do get to see Nick Foles on Monday Night Football. Ugh. I think we need to take a break from Monday nights.
Okay.
I mean, Monday night's been drunk for a while. Maybe we need to take some time apart. Maybe spend a season seeing other people.
Well, the league just needs to do it. It just needs to have these games on flex.
Oh, I've said that forever.
Constantly.
I've said that forever.
If you're in a Monday night, and I don't care who it is, I don't care what the teams are, when it comes round, we can flex any game to Monday night that we want to. Is it really going to put that many people out if you have to change your plans? You were planning on going to a Sunday afternoon game.
Well,
are you not going to change your plans if you find out 3 weeks ahead of time that you're going to stay another night in Philadelphia for a Monday night football game?
Nobody cares. We're not pandering to the in the stadium audience anyway. We care about television. YouTube TV coming off a quite a sum to get Sunday ticket.
Yes, indeed.
We're pandering to the television audience. That's where the money is.
Mm-hmm.
It's where it's always been. It's where it will continue to be.
You need to be able to flex games every week of the season.
Because this week, your primetime games are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Arizona Cardinals with Trace McSorley at quarterback.
Yeah.
The Los Angeles Chargers and the Nick Foles-led Indianapolis Colts. And then there's the good one, which is tomorrow night with my Jets Jets and the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Mm-hmm.
If you thought that was going to be a thing going into this year, you're a witch.
What, Jets and Jaguars?
Jaguars would be one of the best games of the weekend.
It's going to have playoff implications for both teams.
This week's schedule, you should go through it with a bag of saltine crackers sitting next to you because it will give you some gastric issues.
No good games? Is that what you're saying?
Name me the game of the week. I'll wait. Outside of Eagles Cowboys, give me the game of the week.
Oh, that was the one.
It gets very Raiders Steelersy in a hurry. Sunday, yeah, enjoy your families because there's not much there. If you're breaking away from Christmas dinner to watch the Denver Broncos and the LA Rams, you should be nicer to your family. I hope you got them some good presents.
No, we will all have already spent the whole day with them, and we're done. We're done by that point. We need football. You need some kind of reprieve in your life after spending all day with the family.
I may not watch 1 second of Sunday. I will be at the Village Porch, 51 North Merriman Avenue, on Christmas Eve. If you'd like to have start the weekend off right with the mulleted guy. And we will be having our live final there next Sunday. We will be crowning a winner in-house next Sunday.
Nice.
And it may or may not be me. Let's go.
Could be. It could be Jeremy, as he was, the number 2 seed?
Mm-hmm.
Going into these final 2 weeks of the battle for the belt
contest. Sitting in quite a little catbird seat.
Whatever happened to the belt? Where is it?
In the back seat of my car.
Okay.
Right. Actually, I put it in the car just to make sure I would have it when I went to Village Porch on Saturday.
I haven't seen it, and now I'm starting to wonder, like, did you lose it? Did you melt it down? And
no, I would never harm the belt. It is my precious.
We got the final 16, all in it to win it for the belt. And again, somebody please don't let Jeremy win. I'm doing as much praying that Jeremy does not win this as Jeremy did praying that I have to see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers lose to the Carolina Panthers, which he got his wish. Why can't I get my Christmas wish?
Well, here's the thing. Maybe I just live a little more right than you do.
You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. When I finally drove the old car into the grave, I knew there was only one place I was going to go. Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville, home of the family plan. And yes, they treat you like family. I went in, told them what I was looking for, told them my budget, and in no time, I was signing the paperwork on my certified pre-owned vehicle. They have the area's largest selection on quality pre-owned vehicles and certified Nissans. They go through a 167-point inspection, so you know it's not going to let you down. They gave me the Carfax report, so I know the history of my vehicle. And the Fred Anderson family plan gives me things like oil changes and car washes and loaner cars if I have to have major work done on the car in the future. For me, buying a car has always been an intimidating thought. But the folks at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville made it super easy. Don't be like me. Don't wait till the last minute to get a deal done. Go to AndersonNissan.com or stop by the showroom at 629 Brevard Road. And don't forget to mention we sent you from the Sportsocracy and get a $250 bonus on your trade-in at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
The Ingles Giving Tree, benefiting Manna Food Bank, will be on display at Asheville outlets as a reminder of the needs of so many families in western North Carolina. Drop off non-perishable items in the donation barrels at all Ingles locations. Donate online or at the Ingles Giving Tree at Asheville outlets so Manna Food Bank can reach everyone who needs help. Nothing can hold back the holiday spirit of giving in western North Carolina. Please help Ingles Markets, iHeartRadio, WLOS, and the Asheville Citizen-Times ensure Manna Food Bank can fill thousands of empty plates this season.
I wanted to know why some people who get COVID-19 get it so bad. I found out it may be because they have a high risk factor, such as heart disease, diabetes, being overweight, smoking, and asthma. Even if symptoms feel mild, these factors can increase your risk of COVID-19 turning severe. So if you're at high risk and test positive, there are things you can do, like asking your healthcare provider if an authorized oral treatment is right for you. Learn about an option at treatcovid19.com. This message is sponsored by Pfizer.
I never write reviews, but Navage is so amazing, I had to leave one. Nothing's ever cleared out my sinuses as well. I'm blown away by how Navage works. That's a review from Carrie, and it's one of over 100,000 online testimonials praising Navage. I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I've talked about flushing out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs. How Navage's powered suction can help you breathe better, and how your nose is the body's air filter, and Navage will clean it out. But don't take my word for it. What do people like Chad say, who wrote, Navage has helped clear out my nasal passages every single night. My wife says my snoring has gone way down. Snorefest be gone, unquote. Navage is the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million customers to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, Target, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E. Clean nose, healthy life.
Let me guess. It happened again. You're out holiday shopping at the last minute. No judgment here. That's why I went to Kohl's, where I earned a ton of Kohl's cash and found what I needed for less, like stocking stuffers starting at $6.39 and silver jewelry sets for $17.59. Plus, I got Sephora fragrance sets for $25 and under and saved 20% off other presents. More gifts and more savings. It's Kohl's, even at the last minute. Select styles, 20% off ends December 24th. Coupons and Kohl's cash not valid on Sephora at Kohl's. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
The Sportsocracy.
These guys are a f***ing disgrace.
It is the Sportsocracy. It is ESPN Asheville, and we are the Democratic Republic of Sports. You can get us on YouTube and join the House of Reprehensibles. Show your appreciation for the hard work that Jeremy and I do here each and every day.
I don't know if I'd call it hard work.
Yeah, I mean, it's work.
I'm really scared if I ever had to get another job, because I'm not really good at anything else.
Right.
And I already said the OnlyFans thing. I've just been told that's not for me.
No, it's definitely not.
It seems a little sexist to me, but okay, whatever.
It's not sexist. It's just common sense.
There's not a whole lot of call.
Just,
I get it. Okay,
look
not
it.
Not a lot of market.
Just look at him. If you went, you can get full access to all of this.
Stephen Tao said it was mulleted Pat Matricia with the mullet flowing and the hoodie. I need to have a pin behind my ear. Oh, I have one of those.
There you go.
There it is.
That's not somebody you want to emulate.
Great beard.
He needs to be out of a job.
Oh, well, he just needs to have a job he's actually qualified for, because he currently doesn't.
No, and I saw at least I think there were 5 articles that I saw this morning that were all from New England area beat writers. That was, okay, can we stop this now?
Oh, no, it's a Bill. Bill's a genius. He's thinking outside the box. He's got a defensive coordinator calling the plays.
Well, and the best point,
which is probably how you end up with a wide receiver that goes full Stanford band play.
Right.
When you're tied.
And the best reasoning, or the best scenario that I thought was put forth was, now it's Robert Kraft has to step in, and he has to play the role of Bill Belichick, the guy who has constantly beat the drum for it's what's best for the team. Over the years, all of the stalwart guys on the roster, eventually all of them got eschewed from New England, because it was what was, quote unquote, best for the team. Well, Robert Kraft needs to play that role, and he needs to go to Bill Belichick and say, you need to find an actual offensive mind to be running this offense. There's no shot that he's going to go to him and fire him. Bill Belichick is going to be there until he doesn't want to be there.
Which I'm here again telling you the same thing I've now said for 3 years. I won't be shocked if that's this year.
I don't.
I can't see how a Type A is going to keep looking. Look, this was his best shot. I mean, the schedule laid out really nicely for New England. And I hate to break this to Jets fans, Patriots fans. You've allowed the rest of the AFC to show up, and now you've given them all something to play for.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that thing I said about Cleveland? You better dispatch of them, because the back half of that schedule is, well, let's just be nice and say it's not all that daunting.
Mm-hmm.
Their game this weekend may set a last decade record in the NFL. I'll tell you about that in just a few minutes.
Really?
It's not a record you want to own. And it's entirely possible that they're going to own it.
Yeah, I feel like this is now come to a point where there has to be a meeting of the minds between Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick, and he has to say, "Dude, you got to stop doing this. You got to stop doing this. It's
not going to happen. It's not going to happen." See, this is the problem when you embolden Bill Belichick. This is This is the impasse I was trying to get New England fans to see 3 years ago. Of when Tommy went out the door, all these neurotic little idiosyncrasies, they're going to stop being cute real fast. And we're here. If you hadn't gotten just gift wrapped 2 games from the Jets, you would be the most irrelevant team in the AFC, not named the Indianapolis Colts. But you had to do it Bill's way. Oh, he's got 7 rings. He's a genius. He's the nobody 6 rings. Nobody knows better than Bill. Well, here you are. Here you are, and it's not getting any easier anytime soon.
Right. It is. It just continues to baffle me, but that there was no plan. After years of flirting with Josh McDaniels is going to get a head job again somewhere else, he had no fallback plan.
Of course he did. What is the fallback plan? Do you really think a young offensive – I'm going to go back to the same thing that I've said about several jobs that are going to open up this year. Do you really think a young offensive mind is tying himself to Bill Belichick, who's 71 years old? And even if it works, who's going to get the credit?
Bill.
There you go. Why would I do that? If I'm the young little 30, 32-year-old hotshot that has dreams of being a head coach, why would I tie myself to Bill? Notoriously, your assistants have failed miserably as head coaches in this league. Anytime anything goes right, you get the credit. I'm firmly of the belief that the Matt Patricia, Joe Judge thing was not so much, hey, this is what I want to do, as what I'm going to have to do.
Because nobody would take the job.
Name me the offensive mind that's come out of that system. I'll wait. I'll give you a hint. There's not one. Unless you want to go back to 20 years ago. There's not one. So, this is what you do. And now if you're New England, you have to be looking around the AFC going, man, it's getting late in a hurry here.
Absolutely, because you're not you don't have any positives going forward. You just have Bill. That's it.
Well, just think of it this way. Look at your own division. How many teams in your division are on the upswing? Buffalo Bills. Miami Dolphins. New York Jets. Okay. AFC North. Cincinnati. Baltimore.
Yep.
Cleveland. Pittsburgh. I would say Pittsburgh's probably at its floor right now. So I'm not saying you're necessarily on the uptick. I'm just saying it's probably going to get better before it gets worse. Jacksonville, Kansas City, LA Chargers, Las Vegas Raiders. You look around and go, uh-oh. We've stood still for too long, and next year I could argue the AFC will be better than it is this year. Can Denver possibly be as bad as they are right now?
I wouldn't think so.
I think they could hire me to be their head coach, and you would improve to at least 7-10.
Right. One would like to think, but there again is the Russ is washed idea. Is that truth?
I can't imagine Russell Wilson's going 4-13 again.
I can't either.
And so that's the point I'm trying to make is that you have to look around and go, we're the only ones sitting still. Even the Indianapolis Colts. Wait till May rolls around. I promise you there's going to be some form of hope there. Whether it's C.J. Stroud or, please, not another veteran. Please do not do this with another vet. There'll be hope there. And you look at New England and go, what is our hope? What is it we're clinging on to? A crusty old coach that's won no more than 8 games without – or no more than 9 games without Tom Brady in his life? That's our hope. Okay.
You've made your own bed, and now you have to sleep in it. But how long are you going to do it? Could you foresee a path where it will get so uncomfortable, so bad, that Robert Kraft will go to him and say, this is done? You're out. Because I can't.
No, but I could see the meeting behind closed doors of, all right, we got it's time. You can go out of your own volition. You can make this sound like it's your idea. And it may even be his idea. I've said that for 3 years. Solely because we were going to get to this point at some point. If you look around the landscape of the AFC, just look at the games that are being played this week. Jets, Jaguars. Whoever wins that game, catbird seat. Catbird seat for whoever lays an egg this week, and one of them's going to. I promise you. Doesn't really matter which one it is. Bills are obviously already locked in. Miami has to beat a Green Bay team that I think is getting better. But what is New England's hope right now? Oh, we have to beat the best team in the AFC, probably in the NFL, and hope that everything goes our way. That's what I tried to warn you of. But, of course, I was an idiot, and I was a homer, and you're just a Jets fan, and you don't know what you're talking about. Okay. Hey, Chicago, you see what I'm doing right now? Put a pin in that. About a year from now, coming for you.
You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. It's time to get just a bit outside.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
We like to talk about the odds, Vegas odds here on the program because Jeremy is the degenerate gambler of the group. And the odds to win NFL Coach of the Year have been updated. And, Jeremy, have you taken a look at this lately?
I have not. I mean, I'm a degenerate gambler. I once wagered on Russian table tennis. I'm not taking props on Coach of the Year.
No?
Not my – I mean, I'll do it early in the year when I can get good odds on it.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, I feel like you might as well be playing the lottery because there's about 5 guys that could win it, and it's all going to hinge on how the last 3 weeks of the season go.
Overall, odds-on favorite to win Coach of the Year, who is it?
Sirianni?
It is Nick Sirianni.
Which is funny because I think he's the reason they get bounced out of the playoffs.
Minus 225.
Yeah, out.
Second in the odds, Dan Campbell, head coach of the Detroit Lions.
I actually think that's a much better wager right now.
You can get that at plus 250. If that team rebounds and makes the playoffs, I think he's got to be a shoe-in. I know throughout the year you've had you've gone back and forth between who you think should win it, who you know. Brian Daboll usually is your number one or at least right at the top. But he's fourth in the odds right now. Plus 2,500. So this is a two-man race, according to Vegas. It's Nick Sirianni and Dan Campbell.
Where's Doug Peterson?
Doug Peterson is tied for fifth at plus 2,800. He's tied for fifth with Kevin O'Connell, the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings.
So I want you to say that out loud one more time. Just see maybe where you can find how stupid that actually is.
Well, I mean, look, you can't argue with the record. You can't argue with the record of Kevin O'Connell. He definitely deserves to be on the short list, and I agree with those odds.
Depends on your definition of short. Is this one of those leading edge things again?
Top 5 or 6.
Yeah. I would get to 6 in a hurry, and Kevin O'Connell's name would not be there.
Would not be mentioned at all. Third in the odds right now at plus 2,000. That's why I say this is a two-horse race, because you got Nick Sirianni at minus 225, Dan Campbell at plus 250. Third place at plus 2,000 is Kyle Shanahan, which I don't think we've talked about near enough.
Oh, because he has no shot.
The coaching job that he's done this year.
It's been great, but he has no shot.
With the loss of Trey Lance in week 2, the loss of Jimmy Garoppolo, and now he's got Brock Purdy, and we still believe that they're a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah, he's been to a handful of NFC championship games. You could give me Kyle Shanahan at plus $1 million. I still wouldn't take it because he has no prayer.
So are you cool with that? Are you cool with the two-horse race?
I am actively throwing a shekel or two on Doug Peterson because if he wins out and they make the playoffs after the Urban Meyer thing, he will finish much higher. I can't tell you he wins it, but he might.
But he'll finish much higher in the voting than fifth right now. Your guy is just under Doug Peterson.
It's fine. I won't take that at plus $1 million either.
It's plus 5,000. And then you got 3 at plus 8, Pete Carroll, Sean McDermott, and Andy Reid.
And none of those matter.
None of them.
You could have stopped at Doug Peterson. It would have been just fine.
Absolutely. So there you go. There's your updated odds for Coach of the Year in the NFL.
If you are a wagerer like I am, you've probably looked at a weather forecast for this weekend and realized that every one of these games just has a she buddy beside it because it's going to be cold. Super cold. What does cold do to lines?
Brings them down.
Brings them down. As of right now, there are 16 games in the NFL this weekend, starting tomorrow, running through Monday. Some of them are indoors, which means the weather doesn't affect them. How many of them currently have an over-under that's 40 or lower?
10.
It's 7. 7, almost a half are at 40 or lower, which 40 in the NFL is insane. You've got the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Jets at 36, just like the Texans and the Titans, Broncos and the Rams. They're all at 36. 37.5, Falcons at the Ravens. 2, Commanders at the 49ers, Raiders at the Steelers are at 38. But that's not the reason I'm telling the story. I'm telling the story because of the New Orleans Saints and the Cleveland Browns. Would you like to set the current number on that game?
31.
It's 32.5 and dropping.
I was close.
There is a possibility that it will be the lowest over-under in the 21st century.
Wow.
No game since the year 2000 has closed under 30 points, and this is tracking that way. They started tracking this stat in 1979. The lowest over-under ever is 28. It will not get that low, but it could be the lowest of the last 22 years.
And I'll be honest with you, I think it'd still take the under.
The last game to close with a total of 32 or less was Colts at Bills in 2010. And this, I don't see a way it's not going to close below that.
10-3, final score.
It could be something like, because it's going to be ridiculously cold.
And I like the Browns in that matchup.
And we have a new weather phenomenon that we're going to have to talk about after the break.
The bomb cyclone?
Nope. It's in the same type of vein, but I had never heard this term before today, and apparently it's going to be a problem.
You're in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
A winter weather advisory will be in effect from this evening until 9 o'clock Thursday morning, mainly for areas above 3,000 feet. For much of the area, cold rain, but higher in elevation, a little bit of light freezing rain may cause some slick spots. Overnight, a low down to 33. Rain ends early tomorrow, then cloudy with a high of 46. Rain may change over to light snow late tomorrow night with a low plunging to 19. For Friday, clearing and windy, a high of 23, and then a dry and cold weekend heading towards Christmas. I'm Jeff Marr from the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by the Ad Council. Okay, dads. It's time to do the Cabbage Patch, the Running Man, or something more contemporary, the Floss. Dance like a dad. Learn more at fatherhood.gov. Sponsored by the Ad Council.
The bicycles. The toy fire trucks. Instead of giving gifts that kids will outgrow, invite grandparents and friends to contribute to your child's future with the UNest app. UNest allows parents to create an investment account for their kids that makes it easy to gift funds that can be used for college tuition, a first car, and more, just by sharing a link. To get started, download the UNest app from the App Store or Google Play. See terms and conditions at unest.co. That's UNEST.co.
Holiday shopping is exhausting. I hit like 30 stores already. You?
I went to Verizon.
Oh, and?
And that's it.
Seriously?
Seriously. I got the new iPhone 14 Pro on Verizon in stock now. Plus more Apple gifts like Apple Watch SE, iPad, and Beats Fit Pro. Also on Verizon. A value of up to $1,900.
Seriously?
Seriously. The iPhone 14 Pro is perfect for my daughter. Its new Pro camera system takes amazing pictures, even in low light. She's gonna love it.
So who gets the Apple gifts?
Oh, the Apple gifts? I'm keeping those for myself.
Kind of like a finder's fee?
More like a holiday miracle.
Seriously.
Get to your Verizon store for their best deal of the year. Act now. This offer ends soon. A service plan is required for gifts. 5G phone. Up to $999.99 device payment purchase or full retail purchase with newer upgrade smartphone line required. Less up to $1,000 trade-in promo credit applied over 36 months. 0% APR. Additional terms and conditions apply. Visit Verizon.com for offer details. Up to $1,900 value based on iPhone, Apple Watch, iPad, and Beats.
For more information about contests on the station, log on to ESPNAVL.com. The iHeartRadio Asheville Pro Football Pick'em Challenge rolls on. Make your picks by the Thursday night game at ESPNAVL.com. Weekly winners win a $50 gift card to Asheville Pizza and Brewing and a register for the grand prize, a year's worth of golf for two at Chestnut Mountain Golf Course.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelley Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
The Sportsocracy.
The ceiling is the roof. Let's make it happen. Let's keep moving forward.
You are in the Sportsocracy, and I honestly thought you were talking about I expected you to bring up the bomb cyclone as the weather phenomenon that you'd never heard of.
I don't know what a bomb cyclone is.
The bomb cyclone is basically this entire storm. So if you have not been keeping up with the weather news, Winter Storm Elliott is blowing across the country right now, and it is going to heap snow on the Midwestern and the northeastern parts of America. Now, the entire storm is called a bomb cyclone, which is basically just a massive cold front winter weather push that has it's got a big circular pattern. It looks like a giant hurricane on the tracking that they do with it. And I heard a lot about that, or read a lot about that, as they were forecasting the impact on some of the NFL games this week. But I had not heard the term flash freeze.
It's a flash freeze, and it's a horrible, horrible thing. And apparently, it is coming Thursday night.
Mm-hmm.
Basically from everywhere north of Georgia, all the way up the eastern seaboard. Here's what that means. It means the temperature is going to fall about 20 to 30 degrees in a handful of hours.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's why that's problematic. It's going to rain before that. Apparently, what a flash freeze means is that it gets so cold so quickly that anything moist freezes. So usually you can look at a road and go, it's damp, but it's not wet. Apparently with this, that doesn't matter. So it is going to be virtually impossible to travel until Sunday afternoon in any of these places where it's rained. Do you know how many of these games that affects?
How many?
7 of them. All of the ones that are played outside. That's going to be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
You also have 2 games where the game time temperature is above 35. This is going to be a very sludgy weekend, and that is putting it nicely.
Mm-hmm.
This might be the weirdest storm I've ever seen.
Yeah, I don't know about weirdest storm ever, but it does.
Have you ever seen half the country at 5?
Yeah.
Because that's where you're headed.
Yeah, a few years ago we had, do you not remember the polar vortex?
Oh, no. I remember that term. I remember that term because I made fun of it.
Right. The polar vortex that hit, I want to say it was like 2018, 2017, somewhere in there. And it didn't get above 20 degrees in Asheville for 2-3 weeks.
I do remember that.
It was
vaguely.
like -3 degrees when I would come in the mornings working on WWNC. It was awful.
I only remember that because I remember making fun of the term.
Mm-hmm.
I had a stand-up bit about why does every weather event sound like a Bond movie title?
Here's a little write-up about what it's going to do in the Northeast. It says, and this is from the Weather Channel, as soon as a strong cold front associated with the storm pivots through the region, temperatures will plummet from Friday afternoon to Friday night. In some cases, a temperature drop of 30 to 50 degrees will happen in a matter of hours.
Which is insane.
And that is not going to be good for travelers this Christmas season, and it is definitely not going to be good for playing outdoor football.
Oh, it's horribly timed. I mean, this is coming 3 days before Christmas.
Meanwhile, I don't think we're going to see – I think the storm, the active snow from the storm is going to be gone by the time the games kick off on Saturday, but you're still going to have –
There are a couple that have potential.
Mm-hmm, but you're still going to have to deal with the heavy winds. Like the wind gusts are going to be like 30 miles an hour in Chicago on Saturday after the storm passes.
Well, the good thing is their quarterback never throws anyway. So
I mean,
I'm just doing it because it amuses me now.
You're not wrong.
I know I'm not. There's a slew of other people that don't seem to know that, but you'll know soon.
But when the Buffalo Bills and the Chicago Bears kick off at Soldier Field at 1 o'clock on Saturday, there could still be some snow in the area, but the big important part of that is going to be frigid temperatures and up to 30-mile-an-hour wind gusts.
And the wind chill in Chicago is supposed to be like -7.
It's going to be one of those games that you're going to have to run the damn ball.
It's going to be across the league. I mean, this is one of those weeks that if you're a fantasy football player, good luck. Whoever wins the belt, you will have earned it, because this is not going to be easy.
Mm-hmm.
If you're spending a lot of money on receivers and they're playing outside, you're probably doing it wrong.
Heavy on the running backs this week.
And the link for the 16 finalists for the Battle of the Belt went out earlier today. It will be for just Saturday. We love DraftKings, but they did not give me the option to go Saturday, Sunday, and roping in the Thursday game leaves the recipe for half the field to forget to set their lineup.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's okay, because I don't really feel like you have much of a chance of having big, massive fantasy scores on Sunday.
Miami would be rather alluring.
That's the only one, though. Like, if you're putting together a lineup for Sunday in DFS.
Oh, if it's Broncos, if you were stacking Broncos-Rams, we may have saved you from yourself.
Right. Just play the entire Miami Dolphins team. Maybe a Romeo Dubs.
Oh, I mean, I'm good with Green Bay too.
That's what I'm saying. But you don't want a part of the Broncos, Rams, or the Buccaneers, Cardinals.
That's the easiest under, by the way. Broncos, Rams is probably the easiest under I've ever seen in my life.
What's the number on
36.5. That should be. I feel like whoever was doing the data entry, they hit a 3 when they meant to hit a 2, because that should be 26.5.
Ooh, is this going to be?
And it's inside, and I still don't care.
Is this going to be Baker Mayfield against Brett Rippon?
That. Mm-hmm.
You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. Doesn't get much worse than that. Losing 90 pounds in 1 year is something that you can do with the PhD weight loss program. PhD helped me change my life, turn it all around in just 1 year, and now's the time to make your plan for the upcoming year. You got weight loss on your mind? Maybe you should go to myphdweightloss.com.
I did not have copious amount of weight to lose. I had always just been a little husky. Those fun buzzwords that we use for people that are just a little doughy. Just under a year on this plan, I'm back to my high school weight. All of my knee pain, back pain is gone, and I'm sleeping like a baby, and it's thanks to the planning program of PhD Weight Loss.
They will give you the plan, give you the steps for success. All you got to do is follow it. It's very easy, very convenient. You have no excuse not to check them out. One of the best things about the program is that they have a support system unlike any other out there. They're with you every step of the way to encourage you along your journey. At myphdweightloss.com, it's myphdweightloss.com.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
I wanted to know why some people who get COVID-19 get it so bad. I found out it may be because they have a high risk factor, such as heart disease, diabetes, being overweight, smoking, and asthma. Even if symptoms feel mild, these factors can increase your risk of COVID-19 turning severe. So if you're at high risk and test positive, there are things you can do, like asking your healthcare provider if an authorized oral treatment is right for you. Learn about an option at treatcovid19.com. This message is sponsored by Pfizer.
Dell Technologies' Days of Deals for Business start now with fresh, limited quantity deals on tech to drive productivity. Save on select performance laptops and desktops powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors. Don't forget special pricing on the latest monitors, docks, and accessories, plus free shipping on everything, and special financing with Dell Business Credit. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Where does the magic of the holidays come from? The North Pole? Maybe. Sugar plum fairies? Probably not. At Walgreens, we know that magic comes from you. It's the halls you deck from wall to wall, the wonderful gifts under your tree, and the holly jolly parties you throw. So dash into your local Walgreens. We'll be here to help every merry little step of the way. Because when you're ready to spread the holiday cheer, it's not magic, it's Walgreens. This week, number 7 star of the show gift sets are 50% off. Select styles available while supplies last.
Coffee store closes on. Get them the money. Then when you get the money, you get the power. That watch costs more than your car. Then when you get the power, then you get the woman.
Wednesday night football. We actually got a bowl game tonight that's worth betting. There haven't been a lot of those. Sorry, Liberty Toledo in the rain wasn't doing it for me. But tonight you get the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers taking on South Alabama in the R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl.
Gross.
I didn't say watch it. I have no interest in watching this. You put on a rom-com, maybe throw on a Bad Mom's Christmas. You have a night with the family. Maybe not the kiddies, because that's not really a kiddie movie.
Kids don't need to watch that.
There's one part of this that you should be in on, and it's the over by
you were
a
talking
lot.
about the game. I was thinking, Mila Kunis.
58. 58 in a game with two teams that can't play defense to save their lives. This could be at 58 at halftime. It wouldn't shock me in the least. I'm going over the 58, and I'm taking the Hilltoppers with Austin Reed coming back, plus the 4.
You can take those wagers over to BadHouse.com. Use the promo code Sportsocracy. Get a 125% deposit bonus on whatever you put into your account, up to $2,500.
I'd give you some basketball bangers, but basketball season hasn't started yet.
I mean, that's not true.
It's 100% true.
It's not true at all.
Basketball season doesn't start till the middle of February.
And we got a banger tonight, too.
UNCA in Arkansas?
No. The Tar Heels against Michigan. That's going to be a good game.
Actually, probably will be. You got Ohio State the other night.
Mm-hmm. And I think they figured some things out. I was very impressed with the post-game comments from Hubert Davis talking about, hey, that up-tempo full court press thing that we've been doing late in games recently, it actually creates turnovers.
Yeah, I think Arkansas figured that out in about 1994.
Right. He was like, so I think we want to do that more. Yep.
I haven't coached a game in 6 years, and I know that. So I feel like you're a little late to that party, but glad you figured it out.
Yeah, so Tar Heels against the Michigan Wolverines tonight. That could be a good one. Another chance for the Tar Heels to continue their winning streak after picking up their first win against the top 25 team over the weekend on Ohio State. And, of course, you will hear it right here on ESPN Asheville, your home for the North Carolina Tar Heels. And we'll talk about the game with Jones Angell coming up on Thursday. Oh, wait, that's tomorrow at 4 o'clock, as we will have another Tar
Have you
Heel
been as
coming.
off on the day today as everyone here has been?
Yeah.
Sports Freak Brian Hall and I were both convinced it was either Thursday or Friday.
It's just wishful thinking. You get so close to the holiday, and you're like, is it time yet? Is it time to shut it down for a couple of days? But no, it's not. It's only Wednesday, folks. Sorry about your luck.
It's okay. I took a buggy out of the ABC store last night.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know they had buggies at the
I don't
ABC
think they did.
store.
I actually think some homeless person left it there, and I just took it in because it looked a lot more convenient. I saw a buggy. I used it. I got some weird looks.
I would imagine so. I mean, you don't. Were you buying presents for people, or was this just for your own stores?
What are you, a cop?
I no judgment here. I mean,
It
I just
sounded a
wanted to
little
know.
judgy.
I just wanted to know if you were, stocking up for the bomb cyclone or whatever.
Here's the thing: we got Bond movie titles coming weather-wise. I had to make sure that I had all of the things that I needed to have to be stuck in the house for a week.
007 Flash Freeze. Is that where he faces
Bomb
Mr.
cyclone?
Mr. Freeze versus James Bond.
That was all I could think about as I heard a meteorologist describing what a flash freeze is. I was thinking of the Mr. Freeze Batman movie where he just touches the ground and everything goes cold.
Right.
Like, yeah, I don't want to mess with that.
Time to chill. God, this is the worst Arnold Schwarzenegger movie ever.
It's the worst Batman movie ever. It's not. Well, it is close. That Robert Pattinson one.
Stop that.
That was worth talking about.
That was easily top 3 Batman movie of all time, and you know
Coming from a non-Batman fan, Stephen Towle, come on, I need my backup here. We all know what the business is.
Mm-hmm.
If it doesn't have Christian Bale or Michael Keaton, it's not worth talking about. Val Kilmer and old Bat Nips George Clooney out. Those are not even allowed to be discussed as Batman movies.
You stop that Batman Forever slander right now.
Oh, it was awful.
It was.
Speaking of bad movies, after the break, we're going to talk about the movies that are left in our 16-team Merry Madness bracket.
That's right.
And I'm going to throw shade at some of your holiday favorites.
We're going to slide on down to the greatest of all time by the end of the week. We're down to the Sweet 16. It's coming up next right here on ESPN Asheville. Join us on the YouTube stream at thesportsocracy.com. Click that live video link. Subscribe to the channel so you can join us in the chat, and you can, yes, correct Jeremy on all of his awful movie takes.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
A winter weather advisory will be in effect from this evening until 9 o'clock Thursday morning, mainly for areas above 3,000 feet. For much of the area, cold rain, but higher in elevation, a little bit of light freezing rain may cause some slick spots. Overnight, a low down to 33. Rain ends early tomorrow, then cloudy with a high of 46. Rain may change over to light snow late tomorrow night with a low plunging to 19. For Friday, clearing and windy, a high of 23, and then a dry and cold weekend heading towards Christmas. I'm Jeff Marr from the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Ozzy.com.
Get smarter every day at Ozzy.com. Try a new news site that tells you about the most interesting people, places, and ideas. Discover the next Obama, or maybe the next LeBron James. Try OZY.com right now. Ozzy, it's like a latte for your mind. Get some.
I wanted to know why some people who get COVID-19 get it so bad. I found out it may be because they have a high risk factor, such as heart disease, diabetes, being overweight, smoking, and asthma. Even if symptoms feel mild, these factors can increase your risk of COVID-19 turning severe. So if you're at high risk and test positive, there are things you can do, like asking your healthcare provider if an authorized oral treatment is right for you. Learn about an option at treatcovid19.com. This message is sponsored by Pfizer.
Is it getting harder to find new customers? As the #1 audio company in America, we can help you grow your business at a fraction of the cost. Get started today by visiting iHeartAdvertising.com. That's iHeartAdvertising.com.
iHeartRadio's 'Twas the Night Before Christmas podcast is here, just in the St. Nick of time, and in immersive 3D audio, bringing you closer to the story than ever before. Featuring John Bon Jovi, Elton John, Santa Claus, and more.
'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house,
not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse.
Grab your headphones, open the free iHeartRadio app, and enjoy the timeless Christmas classic read by your favorites on one of the most magical nights of the year. Download the free iHeartRadio app for all the music, radio, and podcasts you love this holiday season.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
I'm Christine Lisi. Tributes continue to pour in for Steelers Hall of Fame running back Franco Harris, who has died at the age of 72. No cause of death was given. Harris, the author of what's considered the most iconic play in NFL history, the Immaculate Reception, a play that kicked off Pittsburgh's 4 Super Bowl championship-winning dynasty teams in the 1970s, notes ESPN Steelers reporter Brooke Pryor.
That catch is what started it all. Until that point, the Steelers hadn't won a playoff game. They were not the Steelers that we know today, but that moment jump-started the rest of the franchise. That, was what happened, before the steel curtain got big and everything else. I mean, that is the most pivotal moment in this organization.
Brooke Pryor on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. The Colts have benched Matt Ryan for a second time this season. Nick Foles will start against the Chargers on Monday Night Football. A stunner from Major League Baseball, Carlos Correa joining the Mets on a 12-year, $315 million contract after his mega deal with the Giants fell through over an undisclosed medical concern with his physical.
Hi, this is Max Kellerman from Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. All of us here at ESPN Radio would like to wish you happy holidays and a happy new year.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
And the Sportsocracy, as always, comes to you live from the Ingles Studio here on ESPN Asheville. 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400, and heard everywhere, live, on demand, and absolutely free on the iHeartRadio app. You can take us with you everywhere you go. You can also do that with YouTube as we stream every show live on the YouTubes. Just go to youtube.com/thesportsocracy. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can join us in the chat and you can set Jeremy straight on his horrible movie takes. Look, I admit I have some horrible movie takes as well.
Elmo raccoons.
Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas. You need to stop with that slander. That is a Christmas gem.
Smoked.
Thank
Scattered,
you.
smothered, covered, junked.
What?
It's a varmint Christmas movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's not good.
Yeah, it is. It is 100% good.
Much like several of the movies that we still have left in our Merry Madness Christmas tournament.
As we do, 16 movies have advanced to the next round after yesterday's voting here live on the program. And over in the Santa bracket, we've got A Christmas Story facing off against Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
I mean, it's Rudolph by 4 miles.
Stop that.
A Christmas Story is awful.
It is not. Your hatred of that movie.
What is the point of that movie?
He wants
a little Red Ryder, and then you just go in this endless cycle of stupid drivel. And then he ends up in a bunny costume for some reason.
Because his aunt sent it to him.
It's so stupid.
It's not stupid.
That entire movie, I swear to you, as soon as that movie was over, I got up and I went, oh no, I have forgotten how to tie my shoes because I have become dumber for how I just spent the last hour and 40 minutes.
Yet you could sit through Bad Santa.
Bad Santa is awesome.
Stop that.
Bad Santa is awesome.
It is not. It is not. And just because you don't like heartwarming Christmas stories.
I like heartwarming Christmas stories. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer is a classic, which is why it is going to smoke A Christmas Story. And you say I put my thumb on the scale, this is how it was voted. That's how we got here.
Mm-hmm.
And now, your stupid Christmas Story has to go through 3 absolute bangers.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to beat Rudolph, which I don't think it's going to.
By a mile.
But let's just say, in theory, that it does. It then has to play what will be our champion. Whatever wins between Die Hard and Home Alone. I would say 2 of the top 3 Christmas movies of all time. Die Hard, clear number 1 for me.
Mm-hmm.
Bruce Willis, Hans Gruber, yippee-ki-yay, let's go.
Look,
let's go.
I'm not there, and I will never be there. It should not be one of the greatest all-time Christmas movies. I finally just came around to, okay, it's a Christmas movie. But it is not
100% a Christmas movie.
No, it's not.
It's 100%. Was it set at Christmas?
Yeah.
Did it have the themes of heartwarming Christmas things?
Mm-hmm.
With Bruce Willis and his ex-wife reconciling? Spoilers, sorry, the movie's older than I am.
For 5 seconds it did, yeah.
That's enough. That's enough, and it was awesome. Unlike
greatest action movies of all time, okay, Die Hard can be at the top of that list, but not Christmas movies.
It's phenomenal. It's a great Christmas movie, and I'll be honest with you, I hate that it got paired with Home Alone, because that is also a great Christmas movie. And one of the best Super Nintendo games ever.
Your Christmas Story slander is one of the more comical things about you. Also, the hatred for the Batman, which the other Batman super fan in the group, Stephen Tao, he agrees with me. The Batman was awesome.
Couldn't disagree more.
And it is easily top 3 Batman movie of all time.
In 5 seconds, you want me to tell you why I hated the Batman?
Yeah.
Because I don't want my Batman to listen to My Chemical Romance. That's why. I don't need emo Batman. All right, I know we're in a millennial age. I get that. I don't need Batman to listen to Paramore or Fallout Boy.
What would a dark, brooding, young Batman listen to?
Not any of
John
what I just
Denver?
said.
What? Come on.
Duh.
Stop that.
The songbird of our generation, John Denver.
No, I mean it easily went to the top of Batman movie lists just by the beginning when they were playing the Nirvana song. Like, this movie has a Nirvana song in it, and
that was the highlight of the movie. And literally, the credits were still rolling before that ended.
You're so crazy. It goes The Dark Knight, Dark Knight Rises, The Batman. Those are the top 3 Batman
Returns
movies.
is
Stop that.
Right there.
Batman Returns wasn't better than the original.
Yeah, and by the way, Stephen Tao said, I didn't say top 3. Don't lump me with that. You want to say it's better than Clooney? Okay. Val Kilmer, you're getting absolutely no resistance from me.
I'm your Huckleberry.
Because that's the only role Val Kilmer should have ever played, and apparently he was also in Top Gun, which I wouldn't know because I've never seen it, and I never will. But that's the end.
This is ridiculous.
But then we get into the next side of the bracket, which it's not as intriguing to me because I feel like this is a complete cakewalk.
Okay, for what?
The 1 seed National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Oh, yeah.
If it doesn't beat A Nightmare Before Christmas, I may just take the rest of the week off.
And it's
because I feel like that is the first time I will have ever been triggered in my entire life that didn't involve being at a firing range.
And it should. It should beat Nightmare Before Christmas, and it should beat Miracle on 34th Street, and it should beat Elf easily. That one, I'm with you on. The other half of the Santa bracket, it's a Christmas Story. For me.
Ugh. Well, I mean, here's the thing. You're on a collision course for 2 of the movies that make me the angriest that they're even still here to upset the other of my top 3, which is Christmas Vacation.
Charles Adlerley in the YouTube comments, going to give him a shout-out because I wish I was with you right now. He
in
says,
the
good
Bahamas.
afternoon, watching from Nassau, the Bahamas. Outstanding show. Well, thank you, sir. And
we appreciate the kind words, and we really wish it wasn't 6 degrees where we are.
It's not that
Everybody's
cold.
making fun of the fact we're matching. It's because it's cold.
It's not
And I
that
don't
cold.
ever say that.
No, we're matching because the hoodies came in right before the show started, and we went, got to wear them.
And they're warm.
They are warm. It's actually getting a little warm in here.
That's because I turned the heat up when I went outside about an hour ago.
Oh, did you? It's not even that cold outside.
I
It's
always
only like
forget that our
45
heat
degrees.
is controlled from down the hall.
It's 45 degrees outside. It ain't that cold.
That's enough. I've heard the Bahamas. That's all I want. I want to be there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what else I want? Elf to lose. I don't care if it's a Miracle on 34th Street. I don't care if it's Christmas Vacation. Elf must die.
Again, your derision of Elf. To me, it's almost as baffling as the Christmas Story.
What was I supposed to like? All right, so I really want you to break down, knowing my personality the way that you do, because I have the little tiny Grinch heart that has to grow 3 times. Of which, if you looked at a cardiogram of mine, you would go, that is not a heart that is 3 times too small. Might be 3 times too big. Matter of fact, we're not really sure how it fits in there. But
sentimentally speaking,
correct.
Your heart is shriveled.
And it's not that I don't like the sentimental movies. I like The Miracle on 34th Street. And I haven't seen it in 20 years, which that doesn't help. That is one that I actually watched as a child. But it has to beat Elf. Because Elf is terrible. Elf is what, if you have an 8-year-old child, and I'm not throwing shade here, you have children too. And you know how children get when they tell stories. And the story starts at A, and you get all the way to R, and you're not really sure how they're going to tie it up, and then you start getting into numbers, and you go, could we tie this together, please? That's Elf in a nutshell. Of, holy goodness, you can't stay on track. We're just stream up. That entire movie could have been 14 minutes and it would have been fine.
I do not understand how you get lost in the story of either of these movies.
I got lost in my will to live watching Elf. I'm not going to lie to you. I thought I was going to have to go to a meeting or something.
What's not?
Just I will do anything to get away from what is happening right now.
Again, what is hard to understand about a human that was raised at the North Pole, finds out he was adopted, and then goes to find his birth father.
No. You didn't hear what I said. I understand the plot. The plot is stupid. And then this meandering, rambling nonsense that this movie becomes is stupider.
It's not, though. It's about a guy who did not grow up amongst humans, and now he has to figure out how to have a relationship. He needs to figure out how to behave in public and stop eating gum off of the subway.
That's actually how he's trying to convince me this is good.
And then he has to save Christmas. Yeah, I mean, you're in the vast minority on this anyway. So, I mean, you can talk, you can throw shade all you want to, but you're practically the only one that doesn't understand this movie.
98 point. Again, never said I didn't understand it. A 4-year-old could understand it. It's just really, really stupid. And 98.8% of people think birds are real. So, you know what? I'm used to being in the minority. I know the truth.
Okay. All right.
And then you get into the Nightmare Before Christmas, which we kind of gleaned over.
Well, I mean, it is what it is. It's
that. All right. I have to say this, and my wife and I had this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
She fully believes Nightmare Before Christmas is a Christmas movie, but Die Hard is not. She's adamant on both of those two things.
Okay.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
Why not?
Because The Nightmare Before Christmas is like an LSD trip taken by somebody with claymation figures. Bill Walton's brain works like A Nightmare Before Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
I promise you.
I mean, that's Tim Burton. Yeah.
Tim Burton did Batman, and then everything else he has done since then has just been cruising into retirement.
No. It is a Christmas movie, and way more of a Christmas movie than Die Hard. How could it not? I mean, it's about the Halloween king taking over Christmas.
And that's my point. I would argue that's more of a Halloween movie than it is a Christmas movie.
It's both.
Yeah, I struggle with that. Name me any other movie that's both.
How many other movies span both holidays?
But that's the point. You can be one or the other.
No, you can't. I mean, you can, but, because Halloween, all of the Halloween movies, obviously Halloween movies. They're not Christmas movies.
Yeah, and that's where I'm at with Nightmare Before Christmas.
Nightmare Before Christmas starts on Halloween,
mm-hmm.
and then Jack decides he wants to take over Christmas, and so they make all the preparations to take over Christmas, and then they even kidnap Santa Claus and all of the things.
So basically, your Christmas movie is about destroying Christmas. And that
it's about doing it.
Is my point.
It's about doing it the Halloween way.
Which means it's a Halloween movie.
Which would be interesting.
And it's also really stupid.
It's not, though. It is not, though. It's a very good movie. It's very well done. The music was good. The animation was good.
I now see the Jack Skellington tattoo on people.
Mm-hmm.
When I never noticed that before I saw that movie. Now I see that and go, yeah, we're not going to get along. We should just shake hands and part ways right now because we're not going to get along at all.
Well, who's shocked by that? Jeremy with all his 13s tattooed all over his body.
I'm a fan of Halloween. I'm just not a fan of Halloweeny Christmas. You keep your holiday over there, and I'll keep my awesome holiday over here.
But, yeah, it's not going to be close. Nightmare Before Christmas will definitely get smoked by National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation because that...
As it should.
That, to me, is probably the greatest Christmas movie of all time because it's got something for everybody.
That's one of a handful of movies that can win, and I will be fine.
You're in the Sportsocracy. Here on ESPN Asheville, Mrs. Santa Claus, or Mrs. Santa.
Mrs. Claus. There you go.
Whichever one
There's
it
only
is.
3 words. There's only so many combinations that you can throw
I was
out
going to hit it eventually. Mrs. Claus bracket. We'll talk about that coming up next.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is slow, 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. 26 westbound delays between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. Light delays 26 eastbound between the French Broad River and the Blue Ridge Parkway. 40 westbound is slow between Smoky Park Highway and George's Branch Road. 40 westbound crawling between George's Branch Road and NC 215. 40 on the eastbound side, stop and go between Fines Creek Road and US 276 in Haywood County. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org.
Holiday shopping is exhausting. I hit like 30 stores already. You? I went to Verizon. Oh, and? And that's it. Seriously? Seriously. I got the new iPhone 14 Pro on Verizon in stock now. Plus more Apple gifts like Apple Watch SE, iPad, and Beats Fit Pro. Also on Verizon. A value of up to $1,900. Seriously? Seriously. The iPhone 14 Pro is perfect for my daughter. Its new Pro camera system takes amazing pictures, even in low light. She's gonna love it. So who gets the Apple gifts? Oh, the Apple gifts? I'm keeping those for myself. Kinda like a finder's fee? More like a holiday miracle. Seriously.
Get to your Verizon store for their best deal of the year. Act now. This offer ends soon. A service plan is required for gifts. 5G phone. Up to $999.99 device payment purchase or full retail purchase with newer upgrade smartphone line required. Less up to $1,000 trade-in promo credit applied over 36 months. 0% APR. Additional terms and conditions apply. Visit Verizon.com for offer details. Up to $1,900 value based on iPhone, Apple Watch, iPad, and Beats.
I wanted to know why some people who get COVID-19 get it so bad. I found out it may be because they have a high risk factor, such as heart disease, diabetes, being overweight, smoking, and asthma. Even if symptoms feel mild, these factors can increase your risk of COVID-19 turning severe. So if you're at high risk and test positive, there are things you can do, like asking your healthcare provider if an authorized oral treatment is right for you. Learn about an option at treatcovid19.com. This message is sponsored by Pfizer.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people.
I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina.
Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelley Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
The Sportsocracy.
That is some good, clean family fun there, eh, Kai?
Right you are, and it is the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville. All right, so we have a poll up on the YouTube stream right now. You can go and cast your vote. Is Nightmare Before Christmas a Christmas movie, a Halloween movie, or both? I contend that it is both.
I contend it can't be both.
Which doesn't make sense.
So if the next Halloween, they've made 40 of those, Michael Myers shows up in a Santa hat, does that make it a Christmas movie? Because that's basically Nightmare Before Christmas.
If he shows up on Christmas. Same premise as Die Hard. Just because it was set at Christmas means it's a Christmas movie, right?
No, it's Christmas because it has the heartwarming undertones.
If Michael Myers somehow comes back from the dead for the 45th time after they were going to end the franchise and comes back at Christmas, that's now a Halloween Christmas movie.
Never figure out why you don't just pour concrete on that guy, but what do I know?
Yeah, you couldn't even shoot him into space. Oh, no, wait, that was Jason. Mm-hmm. They shot into space. Never mind.
And then they fought each other. That's a franchise that you need to kill right now.
So far, it is overwhelmingly both on the poll, but you can go cast your vote. YouTube.com/thesportsocracy. Subscribe to the channel so you can vote in the poll. Is Nightmare Before Christmas a Christmas movie, a Halloween movie, or both?
Or just awful. That should have been the fourth option because that would have been what I voted.
I'm sure it was. I'm sure it would have been the way you voted because we all know you have no imagination.
No, that's why people make movies, so I don't have to imagine things. They spend hundreds of millions of dollars making movies, so I don't have to have an imagination.
We've set out to name the greatest of all time Christmas movie this week in the Sportsocracy in honor of the best of the holidays. Merry Christmas to you all. The Santa bracket. We move on now to the Mrs. Claus bracket. We've got 8 more movies here. We got How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
And it's all of them. So you can, if you like the old cartoon.
It's not all of them. It's whichever one you want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you want it to be the new cartoon, whether you want it to be the old original cartoon, or whether you want it to be the god-awful Jim Carrey live-action version.
Is the new one worth watching?
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. It's new, newer animation, the computer-generated animation. It's pretty good. So, I mean, you can give that a look if you want to. We watched it last night. It's pretty good. It's not as good as the original, in my opinion, but
it has a doozy of a 1-4 matchup here with Frosty the Snowman.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's just a wholesome.
It is.
Just a wholesome story. And it's not so long that I find it really stupid.
Right. It's in the long line of all of the Christmas TV specials that only lasts about 30 minutes, maybe not even 30 minutes.
You will learn that I can put up with about anything for 30 minutes. Now you get into an hour and a half, and now we have gotten into sheer tedium.
Mm-hmm. Frosty the Snowman versus How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I got to go with the Grinch here. Because I'm going original versus Frosty, and that wasn't even close to me.
And I'm okay with that. This is one of those that I really don't care which one wins. Because if it's the Grinch, at least I get the "you're a mean one" guy. And I'm totally good with that. That's enough for that movie to win for me.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not going to talk about Jim Carrey.
Points for Frankie Cleary. Where's my bell? Hit the bell. The Godfather had Christmas scenes in it. Christmas movie?
I've never seen it, so
every time he said, like, I know it's coming, and every time he says it, it still makes me angry.
It's one of my favorite games to play.
The Godfather. I mean, it is the greatest movie of all time.
Somebody got me the top 100 movies of all time advent calendar.
Oh, did they?
That I was supposed to put up in the studio and mark them off as I watched them. I got how many of the top 100 movies of all time do you think I've actually watched?
14.
You were right until you were wrong. When you added the teen, that's where you were wrong.
It was 4?
It was 4. And Die Hard was one of them.
Well, I feel like you need to do some movie watching.
Might have something planned for that in the new year.
I mean, you could skip a lot of the one because I know like Maltese Falcon is going to be on that list of the greatest movies of all time.
Never even heard of it.
No, of course you haven't. It was a movie that came out in like 1940 something with Humphrey Bogart. It's a good movie. Don't get me wrong. I watched it. I had to watch it in a film class, but I watched it. It was pretty good. But yeah, it's not one that I would recommend. I feel like anything in black and white, Jeremy should just tap out on.
Correct. Except It's a Wonderful Life. Which is the other one in the Mrs. Claus bracket, taking on Bad Santa. And frankly, I need you, the smart listeners of the show, to tell Tank that's going to be much closer than you think. Because It's a Wonderful Life was made in 1906.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people have never watched it. My wife had never seen it until last year.
That's crazy.
Or 2 years ago.
It's so crazy to me. Because that is our all-time favorite Christmas movie in my family.
Oh, I love that
We
movie.
watch it at least 3 times a Christmas season.
I love It's a Wonderful Life. That is proof positive that if a movie is made correctly, I can get over the fact that it's really, really old.
Mm-hmm. Did you watch it in black and white, or did
Yes.
you watch it in color?
I actually didn't know you could find it in color.
Yeah, you can. They remastered it, put it in color. It's very weird. If you're used to watching the black
Is
and
it
white
like watching
version,
the Andy Griffith Show in color?
Yes.
My parents did that one time, and I went, I'm going to need you to turn that off.
Right.
Because I don't know why this feels wrong, but it feels wrong, and I don't like it.
It is wrong. It is absolutely wrong, and you shouldn't do it. But It's a Wonderful Life. I know it's going to be close because you got people who just hate wholesome movies, and Jeremy is one of them. That's why he hates Elf.
Elf's not wholesome. Elf is just really stupid.
Of course it is. It's a Will Ferrell movie. All Will Ferrell movies are stupid.
But if you throw adult themes into it, I can get down with it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've loved a handful of movies that Will Ferrell's done.
Well, of course.
Talladega Nights, phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. Old school.
Phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Step
Elf.
Brothers, phenomenal.
Yes, that's another one. Elf, easily top 5 Will Ferrell movie.
No, good Lord, no.
Oh, yeah. Stranger Than Fiction also is one of those. And I guarantee you Jeremy's never seen that movie.
And I feel like The Grinch and It's a Wonderful Life, or Bad Santa, whichever one wins that, are on a crash course for each other. Because the other two number 2 matchups, there's a yeah but with all of them.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you have Charlie Brown against Jack Frost.
Which a lot of people have refused to vote for Charlie Brown because they don't consider it to be a movie. It's a television show. I've seen that a handful of times.
Well, then you have to put Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer in the same category. You have to
Agreed.
put Frosty the Snowman in the same category.
Agreed.
They're all TV. They're all made for TV movies.
See, to me, they fall into movie, and we're good there.
Of course.
Which is why Charlie Brown should beat Jack Frost, but I'm not sure that's going to.
Mm-hmm. The original Grinch cartoon. It was another TV special.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I get if that's your thing, but now you have 2 of them because Jack Frost was the same thing.
And then on the other side, you get The Santa Claus with Tim Allen, who is my favorite actor of all time, against Scrooged, which is the #1 movie that disappointed me the most of every movie I've ever seen.
Which I don't understand.
And I'm not saying I didn't like it. I had been told this will be your favorite Christmas movie. It wasn't even my favorite movie of that year. And I watched, I want to say it was Die Hard and maybe Home Alone that I watched on both sides of it, which really skewed it for me. It was fine. It just wasn't as good as I had been told. And I love Bill Murray.
It's great. It's a great movie. It's a great take on the Christmas Carol. And I honestly think it should win. I think that
over the Santa Claus
should be the upset.
The Santa Claus was awesome. That's another one of you always say I never had a childhood. I saw the Santa Claus in theaters as a child.
Wow. This is when your parents let you out of your cage. That's awesome.
I was not in a cage. I didn't like peopling back then any more than I do now.
You know what? We should really let Jeremy out for the holidays.
I had a wonderful childhood. It just didn't have otters and jug bands like yours did.
Well, it should have, because it would have been better.
You lost me at jug band varmints. Out.
It's also Jim Henson. You have to take that into account. You don't like Muppets, do you? Exactly.
I don't know that I've ever actually seen anything Muppets that's been done.
Really? You never saw The Muppet Show. You never saw any of the movies.
I mean, I'm sure I saw it in passing. I couldn't name not one of those. There's one that beeps. I do remember him because I always found his voice to be really annoying.
Beaker? Yeah.
Maybe. See the one with the little orange sprig of hair on top?
Yeah.
Yeah, that
shaped
noise.
like a beaker.
Never noticed that until now.
He was the sidekick to the professor. The little round-headed guy with glasses. He was a scientist.
I just remembered there was one that
assistant.
beeped.
Yeah.
And there was one with a very large nose.
Gonzo.
Yeah. Not my thing.
Yeah,
wasn't my thing when I was a child. Sure as hell ain't my thing as an adult.
Not his thing. Okay. Well, you know, finding weird stories is always one of Jeremy's things, so we're going to give him the opportunity to tell us one right now.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
This is a reference from a movie as well that I got wrong because I haven't seen this movie in a long time. You remember in Toy Story where the toys climb back into the claw machine to try to save the little alien critters?
Yeah.
Apparently a child in Australia tried to do the exact same thing. I have heard stories of this happening. I always thought they were fake. I thought there's no physical way that a child could climb into a claw machine. Melanie Pike of Queensland, Australia, says that she was on vacation with her family at an amusement park when suddenly one of her daughters told her that her 4-year-old, Poppy, was stuck inside of one of the prize machines. Sure enough, she went up to see what was happening, and Poppy was in the claw machine, crying hysterically, holding a stuffed animal. Apparently, that's actually a thing. But here's what I don't understand. If you can get in, how can you not get out?
Well, because the trap door locks on the other side. Like you can only push it from the outside.
Then ask the kid that went to get mom to push the door in.
I don't know.
I mean, this is not like a Chinese finger trap. You got in it, which means you could physically get out of it.
Actually, the Chinese finger trap may be the perfect comparison.
Does it have
here.
teeth? Do you think the claw machine has teeth on the other side of that door? Because that's the only way that makes sense.
Well, the Chinese finger trap doesn't have teeth.
Oh, yes, it does. Oh, it 100% does. That's what locks your finger into it. I actually have one of those. I can show you exactly how that works. There's a little thing on the other side that you can push through it, and then it spreads on the other side. Well, you can't pull it out, which is why you have to give it a little
I guess I'm
contour.
thinking of those little elastic things that were like the cheap ones. It wasn't like a metal contraption.
Yeah,
it was just a little
Chinese finger
bungee
trap
thing.
is a...
You can't pull your finger. You can put your fingers into it, but when you pull apart, it stretches and clamps down on your fingers.
No, the original version of that has little teeth. So you push your finger past it, and then it goes, and now your finger's stuck.
Mm-hmm.
and you have to get past that, which is how you get it out.
Well, maybe it does. Maybe it's easier to get in than it is to get out.
The ironic part of this is not the first time that this has happened in the last few years. 2 years ago, a 2-year-old did the exact same thing at an Alabama pizza place. Why do we still have claw machines?
To steal your money.
But for why?
Because it's a revenue generator.
Okay, maybe I asked that question. Why do people still play them?
That I don't know.
You know the trick. By the way, look through the side. Makes it way easier. The glass in the front is mirrored. That's the reason it's so hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's distorting what you're looking at.
Well, that and also most of the claws don't have any grip to them.
Like it's just a big prong.
Right, and it goes down, and then it just you can get it perfectly on the head of that little stuffed animal, whatever you're trying to get, and it'll go over, and you clench it on the head, and you think, oh, I got it, and then whoop, it comes back out. The claws just spread as you're trying to get it back out. Yeah, that is the biggest ripoff on the planet. And they're only there because kids see it and go, ooh, Mommy, can I have a quarter? Or I guess it's $1 these days. Damn inflation. Thanks, Obama.
That Sports Take ESPN. For once, one of us did that, and it wasn't me.
Here's a heartwarming story for the Christmas season. A woman who lives in West Sacramento, she lost her dog over a year ago. She's been looking for this thing, pleading, if anybody has seen my dog, please, please let me know because I miss him. 14 months later, the dog has been found. And he was found in Kansas. How does that happen? The dog runs away, gets out for whatever reason, and then shows up 14 months later, 1,600 miles away from his original home. Zeppelin is the name of the dog, which banger name for your dog. He's a German Shepherd mix, and he went missing in October of 2021. A woman in the rural town of Lewisburg, Kansas, found Zeppelin on her property, took him in her home for the night, and took him to the veterinarian's office the next morning. It's unknown how Zeppelin ended up in Kansas, but the veterinarian clinic discovered through his microchip that he was that far away from home, 1,600 miles. And now they will be reunited for Christmas. It's a heartwarming story. You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
A winter weather advisory will be in effect from this evening until 9 o'clock Thursday morning, mainly for areas above 3,000 feet. For much of the area, cold rain, but higher in elevation, a little bit of light freezing rain may cause some slick spots. Overnight, a low down to 33. Rain ends early tomorrow, then cloudy with a high of 46. Rain may change over to light snow late tomorrow night with a low plunging to 19. For Friday, clearing and windy, a high of 23, and then a dry and cold weekend heading towards Christmas. I'm Jeff Marr from the Weather Channel.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is slow 240 eastbound between exit 2 and exit 4A. 240 westbound very busy between Chuns Cove Road and Montford Avenue due to an accident. 26 westbound is slow between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. 26 on the eastbound side, light delays between the French Broad River to just east of Long Shoals Road. 40 westbound slow between the Smoky Park Highway and George's Branch Road. 40 westbound then crawling between George's Branch Road and NC 215. 40 westbound also crawling between NC 209 and US 276. 40 on the eastbound side, stop and go between Vines Creek Road and US 276. On Airport Road, moving from Spruce Drive to I-26, traffic is stop and go. Near Avery Creek, Boulevard Road northbound, approaching Long Shoals Road is slow. I'm Lee Minfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Unbound.org. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at Unbound.org.
Mom, Dad, let's talk. Before you know it, I'm out of here. I want to go to college. Or start a business.
My allowance ain't gonna cut it. Ooh, sorry I said ain't.
The UNest app puts smart investing tools right in the palm of your hand. And with the UNest gifting link, friends and family can contribute to your child's account. Start investing today. Download the UNest app from the App Store or Google Play. See terms and conditions at unest.co. That's UNEST.co.
I wanted to know why some people who get COVID-19 get it so bad. I found out it may be because they have a high risk factor, such as heart disease, diabetes, being overweight, smoking, and asthma. Even if symptoms feel mild, these factors can increase your risk of COVID-19 turning severe. So if you're at high risk and test positive, there are things you can do, like asking your healthcare provider if an authorized oral treatment is right for you. Learn about an option at treatcovid19.com. This message is sponsored by Pfizer.
The iHeartRadio Asheville Pro Football Pick'em Challenge rolls on. Make your picks by the Thursday night game at ESPNAVL.com. Weekly winners win a $50 gift card to Asheville Pizza and Brewing and a register for the grand prize, a year's worth of golf for two at Chestnut Mountain Golf Course.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch. You are in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400, and of course heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app, seen everywhere on YouTube, coming to you live from the Ingles Studio. Low prices, love the savings, and Drake May. Topic of discussion over the last 24 hours here, because it's been reported that he got offered not one, but two deals to leave the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill for $5 million in name, image, and likeness. Pat Narduzzi was the one that broke this news on 93.7 The Fan up in Pittsburgh. And, you know, Mac Brown confirmed it on Monday as well. That, yes, those offers were made, but Drake's staying at Carolina. And I wonder how much it took to get him to do that.
And this is officially DEFCON 5. NCAA, your time is drawing nigh. This is what I tried to tell you. I knew this day was coming. I just didn't know who the player was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Drake May. Because this is the redshirt freshman that was a top 10 finalist for the Heisman. I would have thought Caleb Williams probably would have been involved in this a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
But no. We're officially there, where these teams have no fear. There is no teeth to the NCAA.
No.
None. So now it is full-on Wild Wild West. Congratulations, you got exactly what you wanted.
Right, because the rules are that the schools can't tamper or whatever. They can't reach out to players to make offers. But that doesn't mean they're consortiums or whatever they call them. Can't do that.
Prove it. That's what all of these – because I'll go ahead and tell you, I know exactly who the two schools are. But you can't prove it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll wind up – if you say it out loud, you'll end up in court.
Well, Mac said it on Monday on his coach's show that, yeah, I mean, you know who the schools are. Just look at the ones that are getting the top recruits. So I have to imagine Texas A&M would have been one of them.
I cannot comment on that. I'm not getting sued by any of these schools because I opined who it would be.
I would imagine that I will opine, and I will say I'll probably imagine it was Texas A&M, and if Georgia wasn't one of them, your consortium needs to do better. If this is free agency and this is the wild, wild west, as we all know it is, you got to play the game.
And this entity is going to have to die. That's where we're at. The NCAA is going to have to die. Because this is completely irrelevant. We are officially to the point where if you don't pull for one of 8 schools, you don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
You don't matter. I'm a lifelong Florida State fan. How much do you think I care right now? Oh, look, Mike Norvell got 5 4-stars in the and they'll be gone in a year.
Possibly.
Oh, we did this last year.
Mm-hmm.
He had 7 top 300 recruits last year. You know how many of them are still in school? 4. You know how many of them will still be in school a year from now? Probably 1. There is no emotional attachment whatsoever other than to the logo on the outside of the helmet. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not a fan of Alabama, Georgia, Clemson, Ohio State, I'm telling you, I'm watching the interest die off. It's dying on the vine, and I'm watching it. That makes this sport really hard to make money. Yeah, your Georgia Bulldogs, print money.
Mm-hmm.
Alabama, same thing. You get into these mid-tier schools, why in the world would I keep doing this? I just watched a head coach from it's not a power conference, but a head coach in the MAC just went, I'm out. I'm going to go take an offensive coordinator job at Colorado because I do not matter. That's a scary principle to me.
It's not to me because
you pull for one of these teams.
No, it's not even that.
It's 100% that.
It's not that.
It's 100%
You never
that.
mattered to begin with.
But
no team from the MAC has ever mattered.
But you go straight to Kent State. For me, that's just an example of this.
Mm-hmm.
Half of the ACC does not matter. It doesn't.
And
I'll be honest with you. It's schools that have mattered before.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of, I will be generous right now and say outside of Louisville, Notre Dame, North Carolina, Florida State, Clemson. Why do I care?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think Pat Narduzzi is so loud about this? He does this every year. This is the 3rd year in a row he's done this.
Yeah.
Why do you think he's so loud about it? Because he's looking around at his NFL football stadium that his team plays in going, our attendance is awful. Meanwhile, I have 5 draftable players that are coming off my team this year. And nobody cares. Nobody cares in the least. You look at Wisconsin, which is just a fantastic football school, football town.
Mm-hmm.
You get out of Madison, Wisconsin, does anybody care? No. And this is a horrible precedent. You've been going down this road for years. Now we're officially to the point of schools aren't even hiding what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Because ask yourself this question. How does Pat Narduzzi know this? How does he know?
He gets around.
This was not a he said, she said. Because here's how I'm going to wager this went.
Okay.
I'm going to wager one of his players got a call that he doesn't want to talk about. Kid's probably in the transfer portal. And he said something to Pat Narduzzi along the lines of, yeah, it'll take this much money to keep me. You know who did this exact same thing? Major League Baseball. Weird. How many Oakland A fans you ever met? You ever met one in your life?
No.
You ever met a San Diego Padre fan before the last year?
No.
Learn the lesson. You may not care about the Kent States of the world. They're really important to keeping this thing going around.
Mm-hmm.
You may not see it, and frankly, I don't expect people to see it. But if you don't get a handle on this somehow, this entity's going to go away. Pat McAfee once famously said this 2 years ago, that the power schools are going to break away because they don't need anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And then what happens? Because here's what nobody thinks about. Where do you get your coaches from? You think they're going to pilfer from Kent State if they're playing at what equates to an FCS level? I'm going to say I disagree.
Well, it won't be an FCS level.
That's exactly what it will be. If you see the SEC and the highest 10 programs in the country break away, which it's already happening, the Big Ten and the SEC, those two by themselves could fill a playoff. And the interest would probably be higher than if UCLA gets in or Colorado or I'm thinking of Pac-12 schools here, Washington basically. So why are the others going to continue to do this? You're watching everybody else just print money. Meanwhile, the Big Ten just looked at Oregon, Washington, and Stanford and said, and Cal, and went, nope, you are not good enough to be in our little boys club. You don't have enough money, and we are going to just completely separate ourselves.
My question is, how bad does it get? How bad does it get for these schools, like you say, in the MAC? How much is their bottom line going to be affected by this? Because
there are already schools that are living on the pay-to-play checks. You're already there. And the minute you develop a player, they're gone. So why do I keep doing this? I've already watched one of your coaches just dip out and say, nope, I'm going to go attach myself to Deion Sanders, knowing full well I won't be here 2 years from now.
Because it still makes more money than anything else.
And that's fine. So what happens to the Kent State fan? You think they're just going to attach themselves to Colorado because historically they don't?
No.
And that one individual school, well, who cares? There are 80 of them.
They won't. I don't feel like they would leave their team.
Oh, they're leaving their team in droves. That's why Pat Narduzzi is the loudest person in this. Trust me, I know this area quite well. Spent quite a bit of time right down the road.
So Pittsburgh fans are just tapping out on college football altogether.
You're seeing about a 5% regression every single year because the Jordan Addisons of the world that you gain the attachment to, and then they're going to USC. What are you left? You're left holding the bag for a recruit that, why would I get attached to this player? Why am I buying jerseys? Why am I going to games for a kid that we're not competitive? I mean, my God, look at the talent that's coming out of this program. You've been competitive for absolutely nothing. And the minute these kids develop, they're gone. Why am I going to keep spending my money? Doesn't make any sense.
Because it's your school. Because you love it.
How much money am I spending on West Virginia right now?
I don't know.
We've been doing this 4 years. How many times have I been back up there?
I don't know that you've ever been back
in the 4 years we've been doing this. I haven't. You know why? Because I don't care. Because I know my school cannot produce money like that. They can't. The money's not there. You're not competitive in this. You went into the Big 12 to get the check, and now you're a speed bump. And all I am is a really good example of exactly what I'm talking about. And you can say, oh, I don't care. It's just Kent State. Well, it's Kent State today. Pittsburgh and West Virginia, I got eyes right on you because you're next.
You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Driving slow, 240 westbound between Chuns Cove Road and Montford Avenue. 240 eastbound slow between exit 2 and exit 4A. 26 eastbound delays between Brevard Road and Long Shoals Road. 40 westbound slow between the Smoky Park Highway and Georges Branch Road. 40 westbound then crawling between Georges Branch Road and NC 215. Finally, 40 westbound crawling between NC 209 and US 276. 40 on the eastbound side stop and go between Fines Creek Road and US 276. Airport Road, expect heavy delays moving from Hendersonville Road to I-26. Sweeten Creek Road southbound slow between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Mills Gap Road. I'm Lyndon Field with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Marion Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Imagine a great holiday gift, like $1,000 extra in your pocket with the Big Finish bonus cash. Impossible? Not at Marion Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram during the Big Finish sales event. Get what you want at the price you deserve. Visit us online at marioncdjr.com or in person on Worley Road in Marion. See dealer for details.
Where does the magic of the holidays come from? The North Pole? Maybe. Sugar plum fairies? Probably not. At Walgreens, we know that magic comes from you. It's the halls you deck from wall to wall, the wonderful gifts under your tree, and the holly jolly parties you throw. So dash into your local Walgreens, where we'll be here to help every merry little step of the way. Because when you're ready to spread the holiday cheer, it's not magic, it's Walgreens. This week, number 7 star of the show gift sets are 50% off. Select styles available while supplies last.
There's a lot of talk about the COVID-19 vaccines, and everyone has an opinion. So I went to somebody I already trusted, my doctor. Talk to your doctor or healthcare provider and make the decision that's right for you. Go to getvaccineanswers.org for the latest information. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
The world is always on, but you shouldn't be. Put junk sleep to bed. During Mattress Firm's Dream December sale, save up to 60% with Sealy Queen mattresses starting at $279.99. Only at Mattress Firm.
At Lowe's, every pro is an MVP to us. That's why MVP's Pro Rewards members can earn bonus points on select products and brands like Power Pro, Weehaw, and Valspar. Then redeem your bonus points for exciting rewards like tools, sports memorabilia, Lowe's e-gift cards, and more. Join Lowe's MVP's Pro Rewards today to start earning. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. Subject to program terms. While supplies last. Points expire at end of calendar year. Visit Lowes.com/L/Pro Loyalty terms for details. Now through 1/8/23.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
The Ingles Giving Tree, benefiting Manna Food Bank, will be on display at Asheville outlets as a reminder of the needs of so many families in Western North Carolina. Drop off non-perishable items in the donation barrels at all Ingles locations. Donate online or at the Ingles Giving Tree at Asheville outlets so Manna Food Bank can reach everyone who needs help. Nothing can hold back the holiday spirit of giving in Western North Carolina. Please help Ingles Markets, iHeartRadio, WLOS, and the Asheville Citizen-Times ensure Manna Food Bank can fill thousands of empty plates this season.
The Sportsocracy.
You two are just dumber than a bag of hammers.
Yes, the times are changing in college football. But again, I maintain these programs have always been irrelevant. When do you know how far,
let me ask you a question.
How far back you have to go to get to a national champion team that wasn't a premier program?
And you're missing the point. Let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
We've been having this conversation for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me where I've been wrong so far. I'll wait.
That it was going to destroy the sport?
I didn't say it's going to do it in 3 years. You're headed right down that path. You are headed directly down that path. But in terms of, I step by step called out how this was going to go. You tell me where I've been wrong so far. Mm-hmm. Because, see, you get when I say this, you get locked into the Kent State or the MAC. Oh, no. We ain't stopping there. How much do you care about FCS football?
None.
There you go. I would wager 80 of your 130 membership institutions will be FCS level in 3 years. Because you can't keep any players. I'll give you a good example. Devin Leary.
Mm-hmm.
Real emotional attachment to Devin Leary, right? Could have come back for another year at NC State.
Sure.
Talented program.
Mm-hmm.
Where'd he transfer?
Where'd he go, to Wisconsin?
He went to Kentucky.
Oh, Kentucky.
Does he have a snowball's chance in Atlanta of winning anything at Kentucky?
No.
No, you have a shot to be 15, 20 in the country, and I probably have a better chance to get to the NFL at that level because I'm watching Will Levis do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing if you're leaving NC State for Notre Dame, which is where we were told he was going to go. It's another when you're going to Kentucky. There's no loyalty anywhere. And he had been there for a long time. I get why you did it. That's just an example.
Mm-hmm.
I could give you 500 more. Now it doesn't even matter, do I have a better opportunity there? No. I need to make more money. That's all I care about. He could do that at Kentucky. He couldn't do it at NC State. NC State, you fall right into that West Virginia thing I was just talking about.
You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
A winter weather advisory will be in effect from this evening until 9 o'clock Thursday morning, mainly for areas above 3,000 feet. For much of the area, cold rain, but higher in elevation, a little bit of light freezing rain may cause some slick spots. Overnight, a low down to 33. Rain ends early tomorrow, then cloudy with a high of 46. Rain may change over to light snow late tomorrow night with a low plunging to 19. For Friday, clearing and windy, a high of 23, and then a dry and cold weekend heading towards Christmas. I'm Jeff Marr from the Weather Channel.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Driving slow, 240 westbound between Chuns Cove Road and Montford Avenue. 240 eastbound slow between exit 2 and exit 4A. 26 eastbound delays between Brevard Road and Long Shoals Road. 40 westbound slow between the Smoky Park Highway and Georges Branch Road. 40 westbound then crawling between Georges Branch Road and NC 215. Finally, 40 westbound crawling between NC 209 and US 276. 40 on the eastbound side stop and go between Fines Creek Road and US 276. Airport Road, expect heavy delays moving from Hendersonville Road to I-26. Sweeten Creek Road southbound slow between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Mills Gap Road. I'm Lee Binfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique. But you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
Looking for holiday gifts that won't be re-gifted? Head to eBay Motors. With millions of parts and accessories at the right prices, there's something for every car lover on your list. And with the money you save, you can pick up something for yourself, too. Happy holidays indeed. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
The Sportsocracy.
Let's open up the whole can and kick ass and kill them all. Let the paramedics sort them out.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Steelers Pro Football Hall of Famer Franco Harris is being remembered as kind, compassionate, and humble as the NFL world mourns his death. Harris has died at the age of 72, no cause of death given. Harris, the author of what's considered the most iconic play in NFL history, the Immaculate Reception, a play that placed Harris on the Mount Rushmore of players for the league, believes ESPN NFL reporter Sal Paolantonio.
The sport was changing at that time, and it became the television sport that we know it. The Steelers and Franco Harris put the NFL on the launch pad culturally that launched the NFL into the true television sport that it became in the 80s and the 90s.
The Steelers are scheduled to retire Harris's number 32 jersey during halftime of the Raiders game Saturday. Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts did not practice today because of a sprained right shoulder. Gardner Minshew will start against the Cowboys Saturday if Hurts can't go. The Colts bench quarterback Matt Ryan for a second time this season. They will start Nick Foles against the Chargers on Monday night. Foles likely also starts the remainder of this season.
Hi, this is Max Kellerman from Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. All of us here at ESPN Radio would like to wish you happy holidays and a happy new year.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
Welcome back into the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, coming to you live from the Ingles Studio. As always, you can hear us locally, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400 out in Haywood County. And you can get us everywhere on the iHeart Radio app. And you can take us with you everywhere you go and see our beautiful faces and our brand new Sportsocracy hoodies that are, sadly very Florida Statey, but
they're not Florida State. They're just red. As is half of our logo.
And it was designed by who?
And it was designed around what? Where'd the colors come from? You actually don't know that, do you?
I don't.
They're the North Carolina State flag colors? That's where they came from.
It's not that red, is it?
It is.
Or that maroon?
No, not the outside. I'm talking about the colors in the logo.
Oh.
No, that was the closest I could come to duplicating that.
Gotcha.
But yes, the colors of our logo came from the North Carolina State flag
Aha.
because we're in North Carolina.
Aha.
It makes me really sad that you didn't know that.
Yeah, no, because it's always looked maroon to me, and I went, oh, well, that's just Jeremy doing his Florida State thing, but I don't hate that color, so it's fine. It's fine for me. Yeah, no, red, white, and blue, I get it. This started out being the Democratic Republic of Sports.
Well, it started out orange. And then Melissa Lovell at Ingles pointed out, you do know your logo's Florida Gator colors, right? That was pointed out to me, and it was gone within 24 hours.
And he couldn't stand it.
Because I could never unsee it.
He could not stand it. So anyway, yeah, rocking our new hoodies. Those will be available to the masses
January
coming
1st.
up in the new year. So,
along with many other cool little trinkets and things.
Indeed. And we will keep you up to date on all of that. Subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can join us in the chat. We've had some great ideas today. Stephen Tao, I think it was Stephen Tao that mentioned we should start a list in our Discord channel, which if you become a member of the House of Reprehensibles, you get into the Discord chat, and where you can have access to us all hours of the day, and we can talk about whatever you want to talk about in that Discord. But he says we should put together a list of movies that Jeremy needs to watch in 2023. And I feel like that's a great idea. Number one, you have to start with The Godfather. And then Scarface would be on that list, too, because you've never seen that.
Correct.
Two of the greatest all-time just for men movies. And he absolutely refuses.
It's just a lot of commitment.
It's not that much commitment.
And look, every time you get me to watch something like stupid Elf, it makes me hate movies more and more.
Well, we did that because you had to watch Christmas movies.
I did watch A Bad Mom's Christmas last night. That was pretty good.
Yeah, it was funny. It had its moments. There are a couple of characters in there that I really don't like, but it's fine.
My wife pointed out to me last night that the two celebrities she is told she looks like are a combination of Mila Kunis and Tiffany Amber Thiessen from Saved by the Bell.
Right.
And now I can't unsee that. So
that makes you very happy.
It didn't make me sad.
Right.
I'll put it that way. I did not need a domestic light to make me feel better about it. That's for sure.
I mean, anything Mila Kunis is in, I'm going to watch.
Correct.
So it doesn't matter. It could just be her staring at a screen for 30 minutes, and I would probably just tune right into that thing. So, yeah, she saved Bad Mom's Christmas. Her and Susan Sarandon. I really did like her character in that movie. Anyhow, so I think we should do that. I think we should put together a list of movies that you need to see for the upcoming year. The movie club for 2023. Pick a movie a week, and we'll all watch it together. That comes from Kelvin Joyner,
I think
member
that's
of
a
the House of
formidable idea.
Reprehensibles. I like that as well.
You're going to see more
Top Gun's got to be on that list because you need to see Top Gun, Matt.
You'll see more pop culture things from us in the new year.
Because
here's the thing, and I mean, I feel like we can just be open and honest about this. Baseball has become so largely irrelevant.
Yeah.
That, I mean, and you can like it. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
It just has no mass appeal.
No.
The Carlos Correa thing, that should have been a headline story because he basically went, I'm going to take all the money from San Francisco. Well, can we look at your back? I changed my mind. I'm going to New York.
Right.
If somebody did that in the NFL, we could have talked about it for 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
We could have talked about it for 10 seconds here, and you could literally watch people just go, I don't care.
Absolutely.
So,
Plus, I feel like this is the fourth time he's changed his mind about going somewhere, and who's shocked?
It does seem like he should rent.
Right, because didn't he do that? He was in Houston, and then he got the offer from, I think it was like Seattle or something, and then flipped and went to Minnesota and became irrelevant. And Carlos Correa is just one of those guys that it doesn't surprise me at all. Oh, I changed my mind. Well, no kidding. Good for you. Go be a part of the New York Mets, and I can't wait to see them spend $6 billion on a roster that's going to flame out in the playoffs. Good job.
Oh, they'll win one eventually.
Maybe.
I mean, I did grow up a Mets fan, so I do keep one side eye on that team just in case I could get a little joy from baseball.
Maybe.
My NFL team's not going to give it to me.
You hadn't been able to win one since 1986, and the only reason you won that one was because Bill Buckner couldn't field the ball.
Yeah.
No.
At 86 to 87, that's the year I was born. So. It's a good time. But
I mean, it was a good time.
But in the new year, we're going to do more of those things because what we have basically come to realize is that we're a football show.
Mm-hmm.
We football real well, and we sprinkle in a little basketball, specifically college, more than NBA.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not getting there with baseball. We don't have Caleb Peake now.
Right.
We miss Caleb.
We do. Frankie Cleary says if you're going to watch The Godfather, then you got to watch number 2 as well, but please don't subject yourself to the third. He's absolutely right. I didn't absolutely hate the third Godfather. It just wasn't the first two, and you absolutely need to see the second one. So, yes, Godfather 1, Godfather Part 2, both going to be on the list for the movies that Jeremy needs to see in 2023.
I feel like we could make a little calendar out of that.
We should. We should absolutely do that. Yeah, watch the YouTube summary of number 3.
Is that like reading the Cliff Notes? I was really good at doing that. Basically, the entire time I was in school.
You had a bunch of those little yellow books, didn't you?
No, I didn't. I didn't own them.
Well, no, you stole them from the library and then returned them.
I didn't steal them from the library. I would find somebody that had them and go, hey, let me see that for a minute.
And he would skim through the table of contents in the Cliff Notes.
Bingo.
And still pass the test. Because he was one of those kids.
And then it still passed the test.
Right.
Because I was one of those kids.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Okay, so DNA Tooth Podcast said, do you guys do NBA coverage deep into the season? Very deep.
Like playoffs.
Playoffs.
Yeah. We'll do the trade deadline because that's fun and gives me a reason to sound an air horn in the studio. And we love trades.
Yes.
But that's the thing. I mean, you just look at the calendar now. I mean, I was doing this with Amy. Of when are we going to take off? Because we're taking off the next week, slightly begrudgingly, and because we just had to. Because we're tired.
Right. We're going balls to the wall every day.
I mean, when we come back, you've got the playoff race in the NFL. Then you'll have the playoffs, the Super Bowl. You get about 5 minutes to calm down, and there's 3 months of the draft and the offseason and all of those things.
Mm-hmm.
So you get to May, and we're like, well, you know, we could break down the high ball screens of the Denver Nuggets, or we could make jokes about stupid movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's do that. That sounds way more fun.
That sounds way more fun. We are glad you are along on the ride with us here in the Sportsocracy. Question was asked about fantasy leagues. Any Sportsocracy fantasy leagues? Well, I mean, we have
them, but it's in football, and they've predominantly passed.
Yeah, I think I'm still alive in the House of Reprehensibles league. I think I made the Final Four in there.
I have no idea.
Yeah, Jeremy. If there's not money on the line, Jeremy doesn't care about it.
It would give you great grief to know how much leveraged I am monetarily.
Oh, I'm sure it would
at this point in the season. Probably would do the same thing to my wife if she had any idea, but she doesn't, and that's a good thing for me.
Actual sports news that has been going on today. The discussion has been sparked about resting players before the playoffs. San Francisco 49ers head coach Kyle Shanahan told reporters yesterday that he considers playoff-ready teams not playing their starters before the postseason is a bad idea. I'll be 100% honest with you. I do too. How many times in your football watching career, Jeremy, have you seen a team that has nothing really to play for standings-wise? The Indianapolis Colts with Peyton Manning come to mind. That they just sit everybody in Week 17, and then they go into the first round of the playoffs, and they either play like a really way too close game, or they lose. I don't know how much of that has to do with the fact that you got out of rhythm because you sat for a week or you sat for 2 weeks or whatever.
So
I feel like it happens way more than it should.
So I'll tell you there have been studies done on this. And there has been anecdotal evidence that will support what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
But there is not analytical
Right. There's
evidence.
not concrete evidence to say that I'm wrong. But I'm not taking that chance. If I'm the head coach, I'm not taking that chance. I'll treat it like a preseason game. You can come out, you can get your first series or get your first quarter or whatever. And then I'll sit you. But I'm just not doing this full blanket, we're sitting everybody, we're going to rest for the playoffs. To me, football's too much of a momentum type game to do that with.
It depends on the player. And I feel like Kyle Shanahan, I feel like he's saying this because of Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy needs every snap he can possibly get. But I don't feel that way about everybody. This is one of those things that we talk about on a year-to-year basis. And you have to be really smart about this. If San Francisco goes into Week 18, how many snaps does Christian McCaffrey get? Because if it's more than 0, you did it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
What are you laughing at the fact that
your wife showed up in the comments and goes, your wife doesn't know what?
She appeared in the chat for the first time in 6 months and went, oh.
I'm shocked she didn't throw out your full name. Your wife doesn't know what? Jeremy something Greene.
You're in the same room with me,
mm-hmm.
and there's no one here to save you. I don't think Miss Joanne will save you.
I didn't say it, and I wasn't going to say it because I know how much that means to you.
Correct. And she loves me enough.
Mm-hmm.
After the break, we will talk about specific players because there are sweeping declaration. No, I don't want to see a team go practice squad in Week 18. But there are certain players on teams, there's absolutely no reason for you to play.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it has as much of an effect as a lot of people want to make it sound like they do.
You're in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville. What do you think? Get in on the YouTube comments. Is it right to sit your players before the playoffs if you've got nothing to gain in those last few weeks? Or should you keep the momentum going? Should you keep playing them? You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic slow, 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. 240 eastbound slow between exit 2 and exit 4A. 26 eastbound is slow between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Long Shoals Road. 26 eastbound again slow east of Hendersonville Road to Chimney Rock Road. 40 westbound slow between the 26-240 split Malfunction Junction and Smoky Park Highway. 40 westbound then crawling between George's Branch Road and NC 215. 40 westbound again crawling between NC 209 and US 276. 40 on the eastbound side, stop and go between Fines Creek Road and US 276. Airport Road moving from Spruce Drive to I-26 is very busy. Merriman Avenue northbound approaching Edgewood Road, delays. Sweeten Creek Road southbound approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. I'm Lynn Benfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Dell Technologies.
Dell Technologies' days of deals start now with savings on select business PCs powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
The iHeartRadio Asheville Pro Football Pick'em Challenge rolls on. Make your picks by the Thursday night game at ESPNAVL.com. Weekly winners win a $50 gift card to Asheville Pizza and Brewing and a register for the grand prize, a year's worth of golf for two at Chestnut Mountain Golf Course.
Mom, Dad, let's talk. Before you know it, I'm out of here. I want to go to college. Or start a business. My allowance ain't gonna cut it. Ooh, sorry I said ain't.
The UNEST app puts smart investing tools right in the palm of your hand. And with the UNEST gifting link, friends and family can contribute to your child's account. Start investing today. Download the UNEST app from the App Store or Google Play. See terms and conditions at unest.co. That's UNEST.co.
I wanted to know why some people who get COVID-19 get it so bad. I found out it may be because they have a high risk factor, such as heart disease, diabetes, being overweight, smoking, and asthma. Even if symptoms feel mild, these factors can increase your risk of COVID-19 turning severe. So if you're at high risk and test positive, there are things you can do, like asking your healthcare provider if an authorized oral treatment is right for you. Learn about an option at treatcovid19.com. This message is sponsored by Pfizer.
The Ingles Giving Tree, benefiting Manna Food Bank, will be on display at Asheville outlets as a reminder of the needs of so many families in western North Carolina. Drop off non-perishable items in the donation barrels at all Ingles locations. Donate online or at the Ingles Giving Tree at Asheville outlets so Manna Food Bank can reach everyone who needs help. Nothing can hold back the holiday spirit of giving in western North Carolina. Please help Ingles Markets, iHeartRadio, WLOS, and the Asheville Citizen-Times ensure Manna Food Bank can fill thousands of empty plates this season.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
It's the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, coming to you from the Ingles Studio. Yes, Amy has entered the chat on the YouTube stream.
You say things all the time and never get caught. I do it one time, red-handed.
I got caught once. There was that one time.
There was that one time. Is that why you haven't done it since?
No, I still do it every now and then, and I have heard it a couple of times. Like, you do know, so I listened to the show today. Oh, well.
That's in all honesty, that's in my house. That's usually what did you think was funny and what was awful? In your house, that could be I listened to the show today. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Whatever I said.
Whatever I said, I ought not have said, and I'm sorry that I did.
Like, you know, I'm just playing it up for the crowd. I don't really believe all those things that I said. I don't talk trash about my wife.
I didn't say you talk trash. I said you disclose things sometimes that
I do.
Maybe you ought not.
I share too much with people, and my wife we've had this full-on discussions about that. Like, don't you think some things need to be private? I mean, yes, some things do need to be made private. And I don't talk about those things. But if it's funny,
Amy came
and
up
it might be a little embarrassing for you, I'm 100% going to tell that story.
Amy came up with me doing stand-up. She learned a long time ago. There's not a whole lot that doesn't get shared.
Right. It's all for the game, and it's all part of the the personal touch. I was always told never lie to your audience, so I make it a habit not to. But I also make it a habit to sometimes share way too much.
I also hope that's the last time you say personal touch in the same room as me.
Like like the time the kid pooped on the porch. I probably shouldn't have told that story.
Probably not.
But, I mean, at some point, that lesson has to be learned. You'd have thought 10 years old was a little too old to be doing that, but okay.
And there's where you went. And there's where you went too far.
Exactly.
Because you never said the age up until then.
Exactly. It is the Sportsocracy coming to you live from the Ingles Studio. Check us out on YouTube. Go to thesportsocracy.com. Click on the live video link and subscribe to the channel. And so what players don't need to play?
Christian McCaffrey is the first one that came to my mind.
Okay.
It's a guy with a historically bad injury history. Things are going well, and it's not exactly like the reps with him are that relevant.
Mm-hmm. And if
he caught on to this offense pretty quickly.
And if you're just joining us, we're talking about Kyle Shanahan had some had a point for the media yesterday where he said, "I'm not into resting players before the playoffs," because he's done that before. And then his team got bit in the playoffs.
Well, I mean, his team is usually killed by the playoffs. So if anybody was going to do it, he would be the one that would make the most sense. Deebo Samuel, if he was active. No way. No way. You live hurt anyway. I get to the point where I'm not playing anything for anything. Sit down. In large part, I would not want to do that with quarterbacks, but there is one. Jalen Hurts.
Really?
You cannot ask a quarterback to do what they're asking him to do and not expect it to bite you at some point. How many times Lamar Jackson played 17 games in a season? Oh, okay.
Probably never.
I think he did do it once. I think in the MVP year he did. If he didn't, I think it was back in 16 when we played 16 games, not 2016.
Right.
But I'm just looking at Jalen Hurts and the usage, and I don't need to. Frankly, if he doesn't play another game all year until the playoffs, I don't care.
See, that's the thing that would concern me.
Why? This is not a rhythm-based offense anyway. It's not like you're going to see A.J. Brown and him get off, not be on the same page. That offense is predicated on get the ball out of your hands, get the ball in his hands, and let him produce. That's not a rhythm-based system. Peyton Manning, that was rhythm-based. I mean, you got to be on the same page. You got to be the reps have got to be there because that was a downfield passing attack. And the Eagles do some of that. But I really don't care.
Yeah.
I don't want him to take any more hits than he has to. And I'll be really honest with you. I think if this week was a playoff game, he'd be playing. Nick Sirianni will never admit that. But I think he's looking at this going, okay, if we lose, and for us not to be the 1 seed, we have to lose out. Minnesota has to win out. And neither of those two things are happening.
Right.
So Jalen's got a hangnail. Cool. Sit down.
And that was what sparked this whole thing for me, was the Jalen Hurts talk. Jalen Hurts got the bum shoulder, got hurt in last week's game, and I saw a lot of people, a lot of analysts talking about just shut him down. Don't play him again for the rest of the season.
I'd shut him down, and it wouldn't bother me in the least. And I'll be honest with you, I'd do the same thing with Josh Allen.
Yeah, I just can't get there. Because what if there are cobwebs when he comes back, and then you're behind the 8 ball when the playoffs start?
And what happens if in a game that means absolutely nothing, you get him smoked because he takes a billion hits, and now you go into the playoffs with Case Keenum?
Well,
I'm gonna pass on that.
That's the risk that you run, I guess.
And I'm looking at Buffalo. Look, this narrative is not going to be that big a deal this year anyway, because you're not going to have many teams that aren't playing for anything. I don't see a path that there is a team in the AFC that goes into Week 18 playing for nothing. Buffalo, Kansas City, and Cincinnati are going to be in just a battle royale for who's going to get the 1 seed. And I want that bye more than I want anything.
Yes.
And I'm not even as worried about the home field. I want that week off badly. The rest of it, that's just that's the stocking stuffers. The week off, that's my gift.
And I guess maybe that's where I'm at with Philadelphia, because if you did that, if you shut him down now, that's 5 weeks. 5 weeks that he's just not playing. And
my thought has always been, what do you think he forgets the offense in that 5 weeks?
No.
Or do you think he just goes to Aruba and hangs out for the next month?
No, of course not. He's going to be in on the meetings. He's still going to be in practice. Nothing's really going to change, but we do see the hangover, I feel like. When the playoffs come and you got a guy who's rested for 3 or 4 weeks, and there's a little sluggishness going into that playoff game.
And as I said, we've done studies on this, and anecdotally, you're right. There have been instances of that. There is absolutely nothing that proves that is a regular problem. And I think the more the NFL steers into where offenses are going now, the less of a problem it is. Joe Burrow, I wouldn't sit him for a second. That offense, I need everything hunky-dunky. I need as many of you on the field as humanly possible because I saw what the first 4 weeks looked like. And you haven't been full strength in a month. I want to see on the field. Pat Mahomes, I could care less. If Pat just packed it in and went on vacation, I do not care. Because I've seen this enough times to go, when he gets on that field, when those lights turn on, he's going to be just fine. But I also don't want to be the dum-dum that leaves my quarterback in a game that means absolutely nothing. And now I'm going Chad Henne, Case Keenum, Brandon Allen.
Right. It wouldn't be good. But in the past, and the one that keeps sticking out to me is Peyton Manning, because I feel like he did it, or the Indianapolis Colts did it a few times in his career, where you go into the playoffs, you rested players at the end of the season, and then you came out and you wouldn't expect that from Peyton Manning, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time.
I have always thought that what happens there is playoff games are closer than people expect.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't seem to realize that. I'll just use this year, for example. You go through the season schedule, you catch some Denver Broncos, some Indianapolis Colts. So some of these teams are just completely listless. You don't catch that in playoffs. You catch everybody's best shot.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to make you look like you're not firing on all cylinders. No, you're just playing somebody that can hang with you. If you make the playoffs in the NFL, you are a threat. Unless you're the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and in which case you are no threat to anyone.
Oh. I will say, the last two teams that went into the playoffs with losing records winning their division, they won games.
Which is why we need to disband divisions immediately. If the Big Ten can figure it out, the NFL can figure it out.
Seattle did it, and Carolina did it. Just saying. Give me the Dallas Cowboys in Tampa. Tom Brady in the playoffs for the last round. Could sneak up and bite them.
Scattered, smothered, dice chunked.
You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, and it's time for the most important message of the day. Most important message of the day, as always, brought to you by the Asheville Police Chief David Zach.
Don't do crimes.
Don't do crimes. That's right. That's where we got the idea for this segment. We once lobbied Chief Zach to put "don't do crimes" on the cruisers, and I haven't seen any action on that.
That didn't get very far.
I feel like we could put that through to City Council, and City Council would approve it.
I'm all the way in. I think that would be fantastic. Just see the cruisers riding around with "don't do crimes" on the back.
Don't do crimes right on the side.
Just a constant reminder.
Absolutely. Yesterday at the Miami International Airport, there was quite the scene made, and a woman made quite a fool out of herself and got herself into a little bit of trouble. So this woman, who's not named in the story, her kids walked away from the gate. They were waiting to get on an airplane. Kids walked away from the gate. She got upset. We've all seen Home Alone. We know how that can be, or we can all sympathize, I guess, with a mom whose kids just walk away in the airport or go missing at the airport or whatever have you. Obviously, it's going to be a tense situation. But this woman took it to an extreme. It's not said what the back and forth with the gate agent was for American Airlines, but this woman got very impatient and at one point was screaming so loudly that what happened? We live in 2022. What happens when people start making a scene in public?
Cell phone cameras
come out. All the cell phones come out. The cell phones came out and started recording it, and just when the recordings all started, she picked up a computer and the computer screen off the agent's desk and chucked it at her. Hit the agent with the with the computer. It's also being reported that she did $10,000 in damage. That's a damn good computer monitor. I feel like $10,000 is a little bit of a stretch.
Oh, it's the government. I once saw the government spend $7,000 on a door. So
that's very true. Very true. The gate agent reportedly suffered a bruised shoulder in the incident. The woman's kids did come back, by the way. They had just gone to get something to eat or something and didn't tell mom that they were walking away. But this woman, she wasn't there to see her kids long because she got arrested, and she has now been charged with disorderly conduct, aggravated battery, and criminal mischief. Look, I get things are tense during the holiday season, but don't take it out on the people that are there to serve you. Whether it be a server at a restaurant or an Uber driver or the gate agent for American Airlines. It's not her fault your kids walked away. Chucking a computer screen at her, it's not helping the situation, and you're only going to get yourself in trouble.
Every team in the NFL has super fans. My New York Jets have Fireman Ed. There are many of these are all around the NFL. Well, the Kansas City Chiefs have a guy named Xavier Michael Babadar. He is known as Chiefsaholic. You see this guy in the stadium. He wears a wolf costume, and he wears a little Chiefs Kingdom thing, got the big banner. He's one of their super fans.
Mm-hmm.
Well, apparently, he was on his way to the game December 16th in full wolf costume, and he took a stop at the Tulsa Teachers Credit Union to rob it.
Oh.
In the getup.
But why?
So he, at around 9:35 a.m. on December 16th, Bixby police responded to an armed robbery happening at the Tulsa Teachers Credit Union near 131st and Memorial. An eyewitness called in to report the robbery to the police and gave the description of the subject and the direction he fled. After officers arrived, they set up a perimeter in a nearby neighborhood where they caught the suspect trying to escape with a weapon and a large amount of cash on hand. He was going to the game in the costume that he wears. That's a whole new level of stupid criminal.
Absolutely.
You know we can see you, right? There's not many people that show up in Chiefs games looking like Wolfman. Okay? Like, how does that idea even come to you? You're just driving, going to see the Chiefs. I think I'm going to stop and rob this bank real quick. Don't do crimes.
Good Lord.
He has been arrested and, if convicted, faces the possibility of life in prison.
Congratulations. I mean, these super fans, they all have fans of their own.
Correct.
These days. I mean, I'm thinking like Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, we've got the Big Nasty. He's the guy that you always see with the face painted up. He's got the horn on his head and all that. Like, he's got his own fan base. He's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, for God's sakes.
Like, you know we can see you.
Yeah, and could you imagine him doing that?
On the bright side, at least he didn't have to watch his Kansas City Chiefs almost lose to the Houston Texans.
That's a good point.
You try to see silver lining. Try to see silver lining.
By the way, speaking of super fans, did Jets fireman guy, did he ever come back?
Oh, yeah, he's been back for years.
Oh, okay. I just remember when he quit or retired or whatever. I didn't know if he came back, if he was...
He was actually in Charlotte while we were there last year.
Oh, was he?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Just curious. You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
A winter weather advisory will be in effect from this evening until 9 o'clock Thursday morning, mainly for areas above 3,000 feet. For much of the area, cold rain, but higher in elevation, a little bit of light freezing rain may cause some slick spots. Overnight, a low down to 33. Rain ends early tomorrow, then cloudy with a high of 46. Rain may change over to light snow late tomorrow night with a low plunging to 19. For Friday, clearing and windy, a high of 23, and then a dry and cold weekend heading towards Christmas. I'm Jeff Maher from the Weather Channel.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic slow, 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. 240 eastbound delays between exit 3 and exit 4A. 240 eastbound again slow between Tunnel Road and exit 8. 26 eastbound is slow between the French Broad River and Airport Road. 40 westbound slow between the Smoky Park Highway and Georges Branch Road. 40 westbound crawling between Georges Branch Road and NC 215. 40 westbound again crawling between NC 209 and US 276. 40 eastbound slow between Vines Creek Road and US 276. Merriman Avenue northbound is slow approaching Edgewood Road. Airport Road moving from Spruce Drive to I-26, heavy delays. Sweeten Creek Road southbound slow between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Mills Gap Road. Near Avery Creek, Brevard Road southbound approaching Long Shoals Road is slow. Smoky Park Highway northbound approaching Sand Hill Road slow. I'm Lee Minfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Ozzy.com.
Get smarter every day at Ozzy.com. Try a new news site that tells you about the most interesting people, places, and ideas. Discover the next Obama, or maybe the next LeBron James. Try OZY.com right now. Ozzy, it's like a latte for your mind. Get some.
It can happen easily. A
few drinks becomes a few too many. It's time to go, and you think of calling for a ride home. Nah, what's the worst that can happen? You get pulled over, you lose your license, you total your car, you kill someone. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
Be the one.
Stepping through a tackle and stepping to the end zone. It is pouring points in Chapel Hill. Holy cow, Carolina's going to win. Light that bell tower blue.
Carolina faces Oregon in the Holiday Bowl on Wednesday, December 28th. Pre-game coverage starts at 7, kickoff at 8. Right here on your home for Carolina football.
Asheville's home for the Tar Heels is ESPN Asheville.
Losing 90 pounds in 1 year is something that you can do with the PhD weight loss program. PhD helped me change my life, turn it all around in just 1 year, and now's the time to make your plan for the upcoming year. You got weight loss on your mind? Maybe you should go to myphdweightloss.com.
I did not have copious amount of weight to lose. I had always just been a little husky. Those fun buzzwords that we use for people that are just a little doughy. Just under a year on this plan, I'm back to my high school weight. All of my knee pain, back pain is gone, and I'm sleeping like a baby, and it's thanks to the planning program of PhD Weight Loss.
They will give you the plan, give you the steps for success. All you got to do is follow it. It's very easy, very convenient. You have no excuse not to check them out. One of the best things about the program is that they have a support system unlike any other out there. They're with you every step of the way to encourage you along your journey. At myphdweightloss.com. It's myphdweightloss.com.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelly Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
The Sportsocracy.
So you are a regular nuclear meltdown. You better cool off.
It's ESPN Asheville, and we've got another quarterback change coming for one of the worst teams in the NFL. But why is this a big deal? The Indianapolis Colts are benching Matt Ryan for the second time this season. They'll not be turning the reins over to Sam Ehlinger. They did that already, and
it ended badly.
Well. So it's Nick Foles time in Indianapolis.
Ugh.
Matt Ryan still owed $12 million guaranteed on his deal next year.
Cut bait.
Just do it. Just get rid of him.
He'll be 38 years old next year. It's over. It's been over. It's been over for 2 solid years. And so you put him in an offense that he did not know. You've had upheaval in the coaching staff. And now he's not even a replacement level quarterback. He's just flat out bad.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the end.
Had a QBR this year of 43.
Which is bad. That's Zach Wilson territory.
And it's sad, but his time has come. He had his good years. He popped every now and then. The Atlanta Falcons were, they were at least relevant every other year. Never could string together back-to-back winning seasons. But it's time. And Matt Ryan is a perfect example of a quarterback who outstayed his welcome.
Oh, no doubt. He should have retired 2 years ago. This is how a normal human that's not Tom Brady ages.
Mm-hmm.
And my question is, how do you remember Matt Ryan?
Well, sadly enough, he will always be remembered as the guy who was the quarterback of the biggest comeback wins or losses.
He's the biggest choke artist. He's the biggest choke artist in the history of sports.
Which is sad because he doesn't play defense.
No, but he does turn the ball over.
True.
And every one of those comebacks had an element of that at some point. To me, him and Phillip Rivers are going to be interchangeable at best.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I don't get that.
How?
Phillip Rivers not going to be remembered as a better quarterback than Matt Ryan?
I think they're very equivalent. Phillip Rivers was better statistically. Matt Ryan won an MVP. Mm-hmm. Matt Ryan got it to a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
That makes up any of the gap. That's for sure.
Okay.
And I just think in the annals of time, you're going to remember those two together. And it'll be well behind Tom, well behind Peyton, well behind Aaron Rodgers.
Drew Brees.
I think Drew Brees is getting closer.
Mm-hmm.
But he's 4 steps ahead of them. And then you just get into this yuck tier.
Of all of the, Matt Staffords and Eli Mannings. And
Yep. And Eli Manning's ahead of them because he won 2 Super Bowls.
True.
Matt Ryan will go down as a largely forgettable MVP. He had a one-off MVP season, much like Cam Newton did.
Mm-hmm.
To me, those two will be remembered very similarly. Not because they were the same type of quarterback, but because their careers mirrored each other.
Mm-hmm. Same thing. Never had back-to-back winning seasons. You had one massively good year.
You had 1 year that I think skews what you actually were in the way that people remember you.
Mm-hmm.
The difference is that Matt Ryan stuck around long enough to really imprint that on people's minds.
And I think Matt had more than that. He had more than just the 1 year. But for the most part, it was very meh.
Yeah.
I mean, he had some of the greatest wide receivers in the game at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Roddy White and Julio Jones, and then you had Calvin Ridley come around. He had a good cast to play with. But he can never be looked at as that guy. He never had that edge as this is definitely one of the elite quarterbacks. He was always in the Derek Carr tier.
To me, he is the Frank Gore of quarterbacks. You played for so long that you're going to go down historically on a lot of lists.
Mm-hmm.
You were not, and you never were that guy. I've argued with you until I was blue in the face on the Frank Gore is a Hall of Famer thing.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Matt Ryan are the same person. You hung around a really long time. You were on some prodigious offenses, and just the fact that you were in this league that long put you in that class. You're not. You're not, and you're not even close. And I think those two are going to sit on Hall of Fame ballots right beside each other for a really long time.
I'd still disagree with you on the Frank Gore thing, but because there has to be something there has to be that longevity argument that he was
then Matt Ryan's a Hall of
for
Famer.
So long.
Yeah, then Matt Ryan's a Hall of Famer. That's to me.
And I don't know
I think
that
that's
he
where that
will be.
argument does. He's not. He's not. And it's not close.
I think there will be he will be one of those veterans guys that gets in at some point. I feel like Phillip Rivers will be a Hall of Famer.
Oh, Phillip Rivers will get in well before Matt Ryan does. Do you know how many quarterbacks in NFL history have? Good Lord, this is so much better of a comparison than I even thought it was. Do you know how many quarterbacks in NFL history have more passing yards than Matt Ryan?
I don't 7?
6.
Okay.
Phillip Rivers is one of them. Ben Roethlisberger, Brett Favre, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm.
By your metric, that makes him a no-doubt Hall of Famer because that's what you've always told me with Frank Gore. And I think when you compare those two together, it really shows the hole in that argument, especially at running. I'll be honest with you, at both positions. Because Matt Ryan was in a much pass-happier league, and Frank Gore was in a committee league.
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't have anybody that was really competing with you. He was getting tons of carries. He did it for a long time. And so statistically, you look way better than you are. The 5 quarterbacks directly behind Matt Ryan: Dan Marino, Aaron Rodgers, Eli Manning, Matthew Stafford, John Elway. You're not even in the discussion with any of the 5 of them.
And not with Eli solely because of the 2 championships.
He's got 2 Super Bowls. The number of quarterbacks that can say that, it doesn't take
it doesn't
2
take,
hands.
No, it doesn't take long to get there. But he was always a product of his system rather than anything else.
Still won him.
Yeah, I get
And
it.
Matthew Stafford leaps you because he got one and you didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, this is the way that it ends because I can't physically figure out a way that anybody would even want you in the building.
No.
Because at this point, you're a backup quarterback. You're not one of the 32 best quarterbacks in this league, and I don't think
honestly,
you can even
if you're
really.
Matt Ryan, is it even worth it?
No.
Is it even worth it
Take
to
your
continue
ridiculous
to
amount of
be-
money,
Right.
pack it up, and go home.
Right. There's no sense in hanging around anymore. We proved that you can't really play in this league, and there'll be apologists. There'll be people that, yeah, but Atlanta was awful. They had lost all of their, lost all their weapons in his last year in Atlanta. Okay.
Woo. At the end of the day, you still threw to Julio Jones, Roddy White, and Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, but not last year. That's what I'm saying. The excuses will be made for the last year in Atlanta.
There is no excuse. Nobody with an IQ above salad dressing is going to make an excuse for this. I mean, look, you had Michael Pittman this year. You were awful. You're immobile, and you played 2 years too long.
Mm-hmm.
But you should have been gone, and you have damaged your legacy because of this. And now you've been benched for Sam Ehlinger and Nick Foles. And here's the thing. That has to be in the first paragraph of the obituary. I fully believe that. When you tell the story of Matt Ryan, you can talk about the passing yards.
Mm-hmm.
You can talk about the Super Bowl appearance.
Mm-hmm.
You can talk about the MVP.
Mm-hmm.
You have to talk about the fact he was the biggest choke artist in the history of this game. And you have to talk about, at the end, he was the biggest albatross contract in the NFL. The Falcons got rid of it. They found somebody to give him something for it. And then he was benched for Sam Ehlinger and Nick Foles.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the obit for Matt Ryan.
Right.
Doesn't scream Hall of Famer to me.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and it's ESPN Asheville.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Driving slow, 240 westbound between Chuns Cove Road and Montford Avenue. 240 eastbound slow between exit 2 and exit 4A. 26 westbound slowing between the French Broad River and Bavard Road. 26 eastbound stop and go between Bavard Road and the French Broad River. Again, 26 eastbound slowing between Long Shoals Road and Airport Road. 40 westbound slow between the Smoky Park Highway and Georges Branch Road. 40 westbound then crawling between Georges Branch Road and NC 215. 40 westbound also crawling between NC 209 and US 276. 40 on the eastbound side is slow between Fines Creek Road and US 276. Smoky Park Highway northbound approaching Sand Hill Road is slow. Near Avery Creek, Bavard Road southbound approaching Long Shoals Road slow. Sweeten Creek Road southbound slow between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Mills Gap Road. I'm Lee Benfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Ozzy.com.
Get smarter every day at Ozzy.com. Try a new news site that tells you about the most interesting people, places, and ideas. Discover the next Obama, or maybe the next LeBron James. Try OZY.com right now. Ozzy, it's like a latte for your mind. Get some.
The bicycles. The toy fire trucks. Instead of giving gifts that kids will outgrow, invite grandparents and friends to contribute to your child's future with the UNEST app. UNEST allows parents to create an investment account for their kids that makes it easy to gift funds that can be used for college tuition, a first car, and more, just by sharing a link. To get started, download the UNEST app from the App Store or Google Play. See terms and conditions at unest.co. That's UNEST.co.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Starting trouble. No one likes that. We'll get you set up for some stronger starts. You might just need a fresh charge, and we'll take care of that free of charge. But if it is time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that'll fit your needs, starting at just $79.99. You can learn more about our battery selection at AutoZone.com. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Claim based on data from the NPD Group 2021.
The Tar Heels
To the right baseline.
are here.
Floats it way up in the air and in.
Catch the 6-time national champion Tar Heels in action.
He got it! 0.3 of a second.
All season long.
Toward left side. He's going to go hard, heavy. Contact. Got the basket and the foul. Holy cow.
Right here on your home for Carolina basketball.
Asheville's home for the Tar Heels is ESPN Asheville.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
Dirty Perky shark back flat. I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore. Shark back flat.
Let the hate flow through you.
This was always a day that I really enjoyed. National Signing Day. You get two. There's the early period, and then there's another in February. But something about the day, it's just lost its luster. And maybe that reason is because by the time the transfer portal's all said and done, we will have over 2,000 FBS college football players in the portal. Here's a little metric for what that means. That's the scholarship players for 24 full teams. It's only 131 in D1 college football. That means a sixth of your college athletes are in the transfer portal. It's hard for me to get really excited about we flipped this kid. Well, what's going to stop him from flipping again a year from now when he doesn't like how things go or somebody offers him more money? You can keep calling me the old man yelling at clouds, think I'm overrating this, and think that I'm screaming about something when the sport's never been more popular. And none of what you said there is completely wrong. The problem is what I've been saying for 3 full years. I'm watching the foundation crack under the house. You can have a beautiful house, build it out $10 million Cliff Kingsbury style, sit it on the edge of the ocean, and it's absolutely beautiful. If you don't fix the foundation, when it crashes off into the rocks, it's nothing but wet lumber. And that's what I'm afraid you're seeing with the NCAA. Enjoy your commitments today. Enjoy your recruiting class today. There's a good chance a third of them will be gone 365 days from now.
Absolutely. There's a lot of unintended consequences that come from the freedom of player movement. It's a brand new game. Everybody's got to figure out how to play within the game. And maybe, we talked about Drake May getting the offer from 2 schools, unnamed schools, for $5 million to come and play for their schools. And in the end, he said, I can't leave Carolina.
This is much like, to me, this will be a little bit of an aggressive analogy to some. This is much like the mafia in the 70s. You have your hand and your money in so many pockets that there are no rules. The rules don't apply to you because you have the money. You can only do that for so long before the streets are no longer what they used to be. And I feel like that's where the NCAA is headed.
Okay. Well, the NCAA's got a new president, the outgoing governor of Massachusetts, and can he come in and have a great idea to fix all of this? He better.
And his first 2 actions should be to legislate where money comes from and how it has to be registered with the governing body, and to put players on contracts that they have to buy their way out of. If you're going to have players that are leaving for the money, you're going to have to make leaving hurt them financially, the same way it does with the coaches. If you want to use that analogy, that's fine, but you can't cherry pick the good without taking the bad.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. We'll be back with you for the Thursday edition tomorrow at 3 o'clock.
Be sure to go to our social medias to vote on our polls for the Merry Madness Holiday Christmas movie bracket. We will be unveiling the Elite Eight tomorrow, along with the matchups. And
just to update on the poll from earlier in the program, it looks like we are going to be tied.
Deadlocked. It's a Halloween movie or it's both. But it is not a Christmas movie.
Nightmare
Which is
Before
why
Christmas.
I say, do not vote for A Nightmare Before Christmas.
We will see you tomorrow.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
A winter weather advisory will be in effect from this evening until 9 o'clock Thursday morning, mainly for areas above 3,000 feet. For much of the area, cold rain, but higher in elevation, a little bit of light freezing rain may cause some slick spots. Overnight, a low down to 33. Rain ends early tomorrow, then cloudy with a high of 46. Rain may change over to light snow late tomorrow night with a low plunging to 19. For Friday, clearing and windy, a high of 23, and then a dry and cold weekend heading towards Christmas. I'm Jeff Marr from the Weather Channel.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic slow 240 westbound between Chuns Cove Road and US 1923 exit 3. 240 eastbound light delays between exit 2 and exit 4A. 40 westbound slow between the Smoky Park Highway and Georges Branch Road. 40 westbound then crawling between Georges Branch Road and NC 215. 40 westbound finally stop and go between NC 209 and US 276. 40 on the eastbound side, light delays between Fines Creek Road and US 276. Near Avery Creek, Boulevard Road north and southbound, approaching Long Shoals Road is slow. I'm Lyndon Field with your time saver